Hello, hello, hello. Hey, everybody. My name is Logan. I am the right-handed L here on Taking L's. Here, let me move this. I'm gonna move. Hold on. I'm gonna move this capture down a little bit. It looks weird up there, but good to see you guys, everybody. I wasn't planning on booting up tonight at all, actually. But I decided to because I had time. I got through my work sooner than expected, and based on what some of you guys have been saying in the Discords, I missed a couple of things this week and missed some Eyedrops stuff, I guess. So I would like to watch that, I suppose. And then I also have a couple of other things to catch up on things that are going to be going on the channel. Some changes around here, for the good, I think. But let's get into it. This stream is apparently sponsored in part by Hate Army, because Hate Army has the clips. There was a couple here. Yes, here. My eyes are burning. Let's start with my eyes are burning. Here we go. Hopefully this works. I did not prep like I usually prep. Okay, this is not loading. Why?
The Hate Army
there we go. Here we go. And then I need to make sure.
It's the Hate Army.
Oh, audio coming in.
Shout out to Hate.
Good vibes.
Shout out for Hate. That's right, Tin Snake.
Shout out for Hate.
Shout out to Hate.
Shout out for Hate.
And we got ALTs in there, so too bad.
Here we go. So in regards to Street Fighter 6, okay? Recently, people have seen
Oh God.
that when I'm playing Street Fighter 6, particularly when I'm playing the ranked matches.
Hate Army, you are messing with me,
trying
bud.
to play their absolute best.
I'm not used to looking at his visual filters
goes up, my
on a
body's
monitor
hot,
like
pull
this.
up my
I'm
air
usually watching on a
conditioning
phone.
And if I start to lose a string of matches, I get
This is
really
rough,
agitated and heated, and then it just kind of it makes me run into more like bad gameplay. Like I'll play worse the more upset or heated or agitated I get, right? So people have had suggestions, take breaks and stuff like that. Back on Wednesday, my eyes started to burn uncontrollably, and then I couldn't even see. Like I could see the TV, and then when I looked over here, the entire laptop was a blur. I couldn't even like see the words on the screen. I'm like, oh my God. So people suggested,
Hey, do you know what that's called? I'm someone that has like a fair amount of eye problems, and when I heard people talking about this in the Discord, it's called visual fatigue, Phil, because you don't wear your glasses. Like you don't. Just put your glasses on, and your eyes won't hurt, and you'll be able to see. The reason why your face hurts and your vision's blurry is because you're not wearing your glasses. Weirdo.
hey, go get eye drops. So I did. I have eye drops now that I can use. And my eyes start to burn like that,
I heard about this,
right?
but I didn't see this part. And
so
this seems like something. What's up, the Grimner?
Interesting comment.
Rydrake, how are you?
And I think this might actually lead to a
because as someone who has eye problems, less so now, but earlier on in my life, I had to apply a lot of eye drops, and I want to see what he actually said about eye drops.
direct change to when I play Street Fighter that actually is going to be for the best, both for me and for the viewers. So this is what I mean about getting truly constructive feedback, is that it
eye
really
drops
can
are a
help
stream
and change
improvement,
things for
by the
better.
way.
So here we go. Ready?
That's very fun.
Okay. So here's a comment left directly on last night's video of M. Bison gameplay as I continued to...
All right, you know what? He talks too slow. We're gonna go 1.5. He talks too slow.
You know, grind. And then I did a daily
Nothing to do with Hate Army. He just talks too slow.
But, you know, there's issues that arise when I'm playing, right? So here you go. He goes, you barely blink when you're doing matches back to back. You're fixating so hard on the action, and you've just basically learned this kind of a bad habit. And you are in a room with lots of tech equipment and air conditioning, and it's all going to dry out your eyes. Symptoms of dry eyes are sore, itchy, red eyes, and blurry vision. It's no more complex than your eyes are just dry because of how you're playing high-stakes games and you barely blink. You guys would know that. I literally wouldn't, right? Like, I don't know if when I'm playing fighting games, if I'm blinking or not, because I'm focusing on the...
No, we're into LARPing around here, as you guys know. I sincerely don't know, can't tell if that question was a LARP question or a sincere fan or like talking to him. What's that thing Snood talks about? But Poe's law, how you can't really tell in this. Well, in that case, I guess it would be art. But I guess this is like Poe's law of LARPing. I honestly can't tell if that was like a genuinely concerned fan trying to look out for his best interest, or if this is just a LARPer. Okay, so Derek the Second is saying LARP. Chody Taint is laughing apparently. I don't know. I think either way, I tend to subscribe to the Tevin theory of DSP, which is anybody that interacts with Phil is always fucking with him, whether it's deliberate or not. His fans fuck with him by enabling him, and we fuck with him by watching him and doing this. So whether it's a LARP or not is a curious thing to me, but I find it funny either way, to be honest.
A fighting game. You guys would know because you can see me as I play, and so this person is observing and saying, yeah, if you haven't noticed when you play fighting games, like you barely ever blink. So, okay, I mean, that's a valid observation, right? Thank you for that, because I didn't even realize that, okay? Continuing on, you should take breaks every 2 matches or so.
Thank you, Ramen Brahman. Poe's law, when sarcasm becomes indistinguishable from a genuine person.
Getting spam matches back to back over and over for hours is kind of crazy. You need to break them up a little. You're always running at high revs and stressed out, okay? I actually think this person, now putting this in perspective, is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
When I play Street Fighter online, particularly ranked, and I'm just
Grimner.
jumping from match to match to match, right? I could go
it's probably a LARP.
Just playing without a break.
Whether or not it's a LARP,
true.
it gave us Eyedrops on stream. So I guess I'm thankful for that. Because I've been hearing people talk about the Eyedrops. And I guess the Eyedrops happened on Sunday, and I didn't watch Phil on Sunday.
My typical stream
Fuck
would be.
that.
Like right now, as you know,
I usually take Sundays off
we're
from
gonna have
Phil.
a good time
It's
on
my
this
rule.
podcast. When I start playing Elden Ring, we're gonna have those conversations. Tonight, are you kidding me? When we play Stardew Valley, that's like a feature, right? That we're gonna hang out, and we're gonna have a conversation, and we're gonna have fun together. That's kind of the point. But in regards to Street Fighter 6, I basically kind of almost ignore you guys unless I'm taking that
Get
break in the middle
ignored,
of the stream,
chat.
and then I
Oh,
talk
big
to you
ups,
for a little bit,
Roadside
and
Phil.
I'll do shout outs and I'll
Good to see you, brother.
Stuff like that. So what this person is suggesting is to be a more loose atmosphere when I play Street Fighter. Maybe do 2 to 3 sets and then take a break for like 5 minutes. Hang out with the chat. What's going on? What is everyone talking about? Let's do shout outs. Let's update the leaderboard. Let's cool down. Even if I'm on a winning streak or a losing streak, to interrupt that streak, to take a breather, to blink like this, to be natural, to be human, to take a breather, to blink like this.
Okay, hold on. I'm not doing it justice by watching it at super speed here. We're gonna slow it down.
To interrupt that streak.
Okay.
To take a breather. To blink like this.
See, even he thinks it's cringe. You see this little like lip flick here that he does? That's usually a sign that like something's cringe, right? Like, or maybe it's a stroke mouth. I don't know. I find it. I studied body language in college because I have a communications degree. I find it very hard to lend any credence to the pseudoscience that is like micro expressions and body language analysis with Phil specifically, because he's so weird. Because the problem I always have with Phil when looking at his body language is it's hard to establish a baseline for what he might be doing or might be deceiving you, because the best assumption with Phil is that everything he says is a lie. Because on a long enough timeline, everything he says tends to either be a lie or a contradiction if you give him enough time. With this, I know I'm massively derailing. There's something weird going on. Watch his upper lip. There's something weird going on. Little flick right there. Do you see it where my mouse cursor was? Something really weird in the mustache region. I may be reading into this a little too much, but that's funny to me. I feel like he's probably trying to figure out if that joke hit because he's not very confident in the joke is probably the thing.
To be human.
Also, him talking about being human is funny.
Instead of being a robot mashing through a bunch of matches back to back, and that'll give me an
Phil is not
opportunity to
human,
hit my
Derek.
iceberg. Let's put some eye drops in. Hey, let's hydrate, right? Let's
You're
get a drink here.
correct.
Let's get the blood pressure down. Let's get the adrenaline down. Honestly, I think this person is onto something because
apparently your eyelids. Yeah, that's right.
The last 2 times that I played with M. Bison,
he's a human-style person. He has eyelids.
My first several matches, the whole first roughly hour goes well, right?
All of a sudden, after about Broside Phil, this more or less substantiates the idea that he's an alien because he doesn't know how eyedrops work.
Combos,
right? He went 42 years without knowing how eyedrops work, or not understanding that you need to blink.
I wanted scissors, and instead I got head stomp.
It is true statistically, because my eye doctor has told me this, and he's told me that like you need to avoid screens, but like us living in the time we live in, it's very hard to avoid screens. I'm across the room. I'm doing the my wife point to my other. I have another desk on the other side of this room that's like my work desk. And I have my work computer. I'm on screens over there, and then I log off, turn the chair around, and I'm on screens over here. That's just how it works. But you blink less when you look at screens. It's just like a human's natural response to looking at a screen, because we don't want to miss what's on the screen. So we just subconsciously blink less. And that's not good. Like, we need to be blinking more than we're blinking. But he is acting like he's never understood this phenomenon as a guy who has more screen time than me. That's very strange to me.
It's happening. Now, when that's happening, what I should do is immediately I should say, I got to take a break, because obviously things are falling apart. But instead, it's just like my
a lot of things are falling apart.
Makes me want to keep going, right? And that's going to spell disaster. And I see logically, I know this, but the problem is when you're in the heat of the moment, when the adrenaline is pumping, right? When you're angry, then you don't feel the logic betrays you, and you don't think logically. You just, I gotta go to the next one.
The logic betrays you. The logic betrays you sounds like a deep, sort of profound quote that he stumbled upon. The logic betrays you. I'm gonna start using that if I get heated or if I get tilted on something. I'm gonna just say to myself, the logic betrays you. Or my girlfriend. I'm just gonna pull that out with my girlfriend one time. We'll be talking about something, and if we disagree on something, I'll just say, you know what? The logic betrays you.
Things turned around again, right? So I absolutely feel like this device, every 2-3
Lionel,
sets, not matches,
my thoughts exactly.
Right,
him claiming to have some kind of adrenaline-based fight or flight response while playing games is silly to me. Like, it shouldn't happen. Even if you play games for a living, like for me, like I play games on stream fairly regularly, probably a couple of times a week, because I have a jab, man. What's up, Repsy? But I never get I get heated and I get tilted like when I fuck up at Hitman, because I fuck up at Hitman all the time. But I'd never say like, oh, my heart is racing, my adrenaline is pumping. Like, yeah, I'm slightly elevated. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
3. So let's say I play 3 different people in a row, then take like a 5-minute break and relax, right?
I also want to point out, and I think someone else already said it. I forgot who. I was listening to somebody the other day, and somebody mentioned this, and they mentioned that the idea of him stopping and taking a break over an already tedious, insufferable Street Fighter stream is rough to me. If I was a more frequent restreamer, I think I would tap out at this news. I don't think I'd ever want to restream him again. If you notice, Lefty and I rarely restream for that reason. It's just because he is the only thing Lefty or I will do. It usually is the pre-stream, because the pre-stream is where the gold is. But the gameplay, I don't know. His gameplay's rough.
And then recuperate, blink, right? Hydrate.
Okay, so
eyes,
Derek the
hydrate
Second
mouth,
confirms that his last Street Fighter stream was less fun. Yeah, I don't even watch the Street Fighter streams.
I think
Fuck
this is an exceptionally good suggestion. This is
because I don't care about Street Fighter, and I especially don't care about Phil playing it. So when a Street Fighter stream is on, I'll usually be streaming something on my Logan channel, or I'll be just hanging out with family, friends, whoever.
Dramatically improve, I feel, when I play fighting games. And what I'd like to do The first time I'd like to try this is Monday on my next Street Fighter stream. Okay, so for those who don't know, Monday the
Oh,
daytime
Lionel,
stream is
it got
Street
low
Fighter 6, not the night
support?
stream.
Oh,
It's going to be
okay.
M Bison ranked gameplay. My goal is to
We're gonna get the death spiral, aren't we? We're gonna get one of those DSP death spirals, like when he takes an action that he thinks is corrective, he thinks will get him more support, so he doubles and triples down on whatever that thing is, but it'll actually push people further away. So I think him slowing down his already slow, tedious gameplay will do that more. And he'll just keep asking, why isn't it supported, guys? Why isn't it supported? And it'll just compound on itself until there's nothing left. Although he's usually pretty good at bowing out of something before it hits absolute zero. But we'll see. I could be wrong.
take him to master. I'm actually more than a third through 5-star diamond rank. I'm getting there right now. So I feel
well, yeah, like big guy.
I played.
That's my thoughts. That's my thoughts exactly. One of the only suggestions that Phil will listen to is the idea that he has to play less of the game and sit there and stall. That is a very good point. As always, big guy. If he can justify wasting more time while making it look like he's working, he'll do it. That's why he ultimately took the suggestion of doing the throwback or the legacy content. Because honestly, the throwback channel started as a suggestion of people saying, hey, you should dig into your legacy content. As soon as he found a way to play, as soon as he figured out that that'd be a way for him to play fewer games and to waste more time and get more memberships, he did it. Of course he did.
2-3 matches, relax, let's hang out for a little bit. Then we go back. That will actually help me.
Well, yeah, Derek, that's the thing.
Play better. And I think
he's made it his life's.
It's not because here's the thing. The way
he's made it his lifetime brand that he's a quote unquote former pro player. He's pigeonholed himself.
And next thing you know, the night's over. And I'm like, dude, it's like this is what happened last night.
Like, man, I have to say, some of you know this because ALT has mentioned it a few times, and I've been on stuff with him. I am an ACE certification holder, right? I worked at a company in Connecticut that did participate in the ACE certification program. Like, that is a thing. I have it. But the thing about ACE is it is only good for those specific companies. It only matters within those specific companies. They do not care. Nobody cares about a company's proprietary continuous improvement model. Because you know what I had to do when I joined my current company? I had to go do their bullshit company continuous improvement model. Every company or set of companies has their own continuous improvement model. So him insisting that he was some kind of like continuous improvement Chad, I don't really think that matters because that was specific to that set of companies. The majority of that conglomerate doesn't even technically exist anymore, and B, he's obviously not using it because his streams are what we see today.
Past 10 p.m.
That's right, Nerd Brew.
9:30.
I finished my work and I decided to boot up.
And I'm like,
do you know why?
I feel like I want to keep playing the adrenaline.
Do you know why I started streaming? Do you know why I started the stream earlier than I usually do my Wednesday stream? Because I wanted to get done with stuff tonight, and I don't think anybody else was booting up, so I figured I'd boot up.
Coursing through me, but that's a bad idea. I've already played.
Oh, bro, side Phil, you worked at Sears. Big ups.
You know what I'm saying?
I might dox myself, but we had one of the last remaining Sears, like possibly the last one, closed down a few months ago here. I used to love shopping at Sears, dude. I bought my Christmas tree at Sears, so big ups. Big ups on your how to sell program, Roadside Phil.
I asked for this last night, and admittedly, thank you to everyone who was here last night who helped me. Said if I get tilted, I need people to calm me down, and a few people did actually.
Well, Phil says there was a Sears in Renton
so I need to do
as
that.
well
like,
until sometime last year.
But
yeah, there's a Sears. There was a Sears in the town I live in now until like early last year.
Let's have this time to just hang out and talk for a little bit, so you can cool down. So when you go back in, you're of more right mind. You're not just agitated, right? So let's start trying this on Monday.
Yes.
So thank you to this person. Amazingly good comment. And this is what I mean. This kind of feedback could really
It's a great
help.
comment because I can sit around, waste time, and twiddle.
I'm getting older, and
basically.
I shouldn't have a high fucking blood pressure every time I play Street Fighter. But also for content creation in general, I think that the Street Fighter streams would be.
Yeah, dude. Broside Phil. The amazing lack of self-soothing skills. My girlfriend works in a like mental health adjacent field. She's not a mental health expert, but she works in an environment where she has to like assess people's ability to cope, ability to self-soothe. And every time she like catches a fill stream by osmosis of either me sitting in here, excuse me, I burped. That was disgusting. I don't know if that picked up on the mic. But every time she catches Phil by osmosis, she's always like, he has a profound lack of ability to cope and self-soothe. That is probably 50% of his problem. And I was like, hell yeah, you're right. That's why you do what you do.
Better. If instead of
the filter, Dude Messiah says he didn't hear the burp.
That we break it
My
up.
filters are working, guys.
Hang out, right?
I actually
We have
don't.
those
I
opportunities
actually don't run a
for
lot of filters
Chill
anymore.
time in between the serious matches. In truth, I actually feel like a lot of people do this, and I'm just behind the curve, right? Because again, I'm of the mentality of the old days of Street Fighter.
Yes, Nerd Bro. Okay.
Street Fighter a very long time.
Nerd Brew brings up.
I was offline. I was
a piece of one of my Nerd Brew brings up one of my favorite recent pieces of lore. Last year, they went to Sears, and Kat was afraid to use the elevator. Kat didn't want to use the elevator in the Sears, which is wild to me. But yeah, that's actual lore, and it's lore because Phil said it. So I guess you could take it with a massive grain of salt because almost everything Phil says is a lie. But I forgot about that too, bro side Phil. But yes, Phil and Kat were in Sears, I guess, during some kind of liquidation sale, and she didn't want to use the elevator. Let me see. I'm gonna open up another tab. Hold on here. I'm gonna open up another tab while this is going, and I'll see if I can find.
So I would
that
just do
clip.
all these offline matches back to back to back to back, and just keep going. And sometimes I'd have a string of losses. People would like that. They'd laugh at my losses because I would be all pissed and stuff. But today I'm actually trying to play well. This isn't just me pumping out videos for the sake of pumping out videos. I'm actually trying to get better at Street Fighter 6. I care now. Back in Street Fighter 4 days, I legit didn't. I didn't give a fuck if I won or lost as long as I was putting out an entertaining video. Now I actually care. I'm actually trying to get better at the game. So it makes sense that I should actually take breaks and focus and try to readjust so that I'm not pissed off all the time, right?
Take breaks,
So
focus,
this is
try
great.
to
Thank you so much.
readjust.
And anyone, this is the kind of suggestion I need for sure, 100%. This is super helpful. This is going to allow me to do better moving forward if I listen to this kind of advice. Okay.
I'm looking. I don't see the clip. If I find it, we'll watch it.
So thank you very much. And again,
But
if
that was a
anyone else has
real
suggestions
thing that
like this,
happened.
Please, by all means, leave these on my videos. I read them.
Grimner,
I
this is
absolutely
not
read
a
these
pregnancy
suggestions. I look at all the
announcement.
comments,
Oh
I read them,
yeah.
and I read them. So know that it's not being missed or anything like that. Absolutely.
Grimner, I honestly forgot that he said that pregnancy announcement bit until I saw the recent Super Crazy video. Super Crazy put out a pretty good video earlier this week about Kat specifically.
I like
and
the idea of
he used that
positive
clip, and I
feedback. What about
completely
suggestion
forgot about
box?
it. By the way,
and the fact that sometimes you say the suggestions and they are pretty dumb.
oh look, you can
Largus,
see this.
Did
You can
the
see
difference between the suggestions
my
I
other
just read off and
monitors,
received
my
versus
other work
some of the stuff I read
desk.
out of that suggestion box? Here's
Because
the difference.
I'm making a
Someone getting
triangle.
constructive criticism of how to directly improve a Street Fighter stream, make me play better and calm down, better for my health, better for my gameplay, and a better experience for the viewers. It
Yeah,
wasn't,
there-
"I don't
there are
like
no
the
stakes."
podcast. You should cut it out.
As Grimner
You see
points
the
out.
difference between one is a constructive, positive suggestion explaining why it's constructive and positive, and the other is, I don't like that, so don't do it. That's not a suggestion.
No, well, honestly, I don't like that, so don't do it, is a suggestion. Whether or not it's a valid one is open to interpretation. However, when you are a streamer, and a streamer is a performer, when someone comes to a streamer and they say, I don't like that, I don't think you should do it, that's criticism, in most cases valid. I've had people come to me on this channel literally saying, I don't think you guys should, this is Taken L's lore. One of the reasons why I stopped doing the call-in show is that I had a lot of people, and this was actually a lot of people. I would say like between 15 and 20 come to me, say, I like the idea of a call-in show. However, when you have 13 people on the call, it's difficult to listen to. Can you not do that anymore? And I've had thoughts of bringing the call-in show back. That's actually something I'm working on now. But I need to find a way to do it outside of Discord that doesn't have 13 people on the line. I might go to like a single caller thing, but that was like very early Taken L's content. One of the things we did very early on is we had a weekly call-in show. It was fun, but it went way too fucking late. It was during the week, and I'm gonna try and bring that back. So more to come on that.
That's like a pet peeve gripe. It's not the pet peeves box, it's the suggestions box. You're supposed to put stuff in there that actually constructively improves the content, not, I just don't personally.
Well, yeah, Len, it is. So, like, constructive criticism as a concept is subjective. I have to concede that to him, because he has the ability to choose what is constructive to him and what is not. It's part of the human experience. What may be a constructive piece of criticism to me might not be a constructive criticism to someone like, I don't know, Len or Broside Phil, for example. It's up to you to determine that. The problem with DSP is he has a pattern of, let's say, 20 years, because this extends far beyond YouTube. He has a pattern of not taking any criticism. And if you're someone who would indicate that any criticism of yours is not constructive and therefore invalid, you start to lose your credibility. Because if you're a guy that just constantly says, oh, fuck the haters, I don't care about you, and you call anybody that levies any criticism against you a hater, you're going to lose credibility, which is exactly what has happened to Phil. To be honest, no one takes him seriously because he is an unreliable narrator who doesn't take criticism, and anybody that doesn't say, "Oh yes, Phil, you're the most meaningful person on the internet," gets a ban and doesn't get listened to. So who's going to take a guy seriously like that? Nobody, but the biggest of internet misfits, and that is who's left in his chat. Oh God, I didn't mean to derail so hard.
Like something, so don't do it. Or the other one,
well, everyone else does.
Yes,
so
Broside Phil,
too?
I am implying that he's not the victim, and that's the thing he hates. Actually, I'm going to derail for like a couple of minutes because I was thinking about this as I was finishing up my work / like listening to TBS in the background. Not TBS, sorry, WPIG. I was doing work this morning while listening to WPIG, and the War Dog Leader saga came up, where War Dog Leader was genuinely, I believe, trying to give him some nice, uplifting, constructive criticism. War Dog Leader basically said, I understand you're going through a hard time, Phil, but I lost my baby brother, who I was very close to, and even I'm managing, to do basic things like laundry and make myself basic food, like cheese on toast or whatever. That I don't think is malicious at all. And basically what War Dog Leader was very nicely and diplomatically trying to say is that, like, Phil, maybe you're not as big of a victim as you think. You don't have to victimize yourself. You can get by at a time like this and things will get better. But because War Dog Leader was forcing Phil to take a modicum of accountability for himself in a pretty easy situation, to be honest, compared to War Dog's, losing a sibling, I couldn't imagine, especially the people who are relatively young. Like my brother is he's 30. He's 36. Actually, he just turned 37 this month. If my brother passed away now at 37, I'd be devastated, man, because I love my brother and he's older than me, and I'm sure it'd be the same. I'm sure it'd be the same thing for him to me. Losing a sibling is just fucked up, but it's not the same as your girlfriend leaving you. Not at all, dude. Your girlfriend leaving you is so much easier. Phil is just a man baby, and War Dog Leader was just trying to push Phil in the smallest direction of not being a victim. And that's what Phil hated about the whole War Dog Leader thing, because anytime someone tries to force him to take accountability, he just shuts down and he says, "You don't understand me. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Get out of here, you troll." So I'm derailing hard, but I've had a lot of thoughts today, which is why I decided to boot up this stream.
Everybody else, You know, that's why I think the suggestion box sadly didn't really work that well, because people used it as a way to vent at me. For things they don't like, instead of saying,
you're right, Broside Phil. Losing a sibling is rough, but do you know the helicopter story?
Here's actually directly why this would improve your content, and here's how to implement it. You see the difference? I'd say the one or two people who did use it for that, thank you. Like OP Boone was always putting good suggestions in there, and there was one or two other people. But then there's people. Here's my laundry list of gripes.
The King of Suffering is one of the best quotes.
It shows what a horrible person you are because you don't
to come out of the vortex. The King of Suffering is
the fucking point,
goated.
Right? That's the difference here, Plargus. So if you get that, cool. If not, I can't really make you understand it.
I can't help you.
You know
You're
stupid.
Like,
it's such a weird thing that people took the suggestion box not as a suggestions thing, but like a bitch fest. You know, it's not bitch.
Dude, people airing their grievances is a suggestion. Like, okay, so I still work for the same company. I work in a different role that's not exactly the same, but anybody that's worked in insurance and anybody that's worked in an insurance claims role where you're handling claims, I specifically handle disability benefits, right? And when you're talking to people on disability benefits, they're sick, they're hurt, they don't want to talk to you. They're giving you news you don't want to hear. You're giving them news they don't want to hear. When I worked in disability benefits, we'd get surveys. And like the thing is, like, when someone would give us, let's say the survey was like 0 to 10 customer satisfaction. When someone would give us a 0, we wouldn't just automatically dismiss the survey. We would critically look at the claim and look at the process to see, could we have done something differently for that person that might have gone better? Sometimes not. Like sometimes I would sit down with the management team, because anytime we get a 0 survey, we would a manager would go through it. We'd step through the entire claim process that this person had. Sometimes we would come to the conclusion that this person was blowing it up, for lack of a better term. We did everything correct. They just didn't like what we had to tell them. They didn't like maybe we denied their benefits, whatever. But there were some where we would look at those 0 surveys, and even though it seemed like a survey where someone was just complaining unnecessarily, we found nuggets of truth in there. And due to those nuggets of truth, I, over time, was able to improve my knowledge and competencies in that subject matter to the point where I got promoted into another role and then promoted into the role that I have now. My point is, your best learnings in a job, and for Phil, this is your job. The thing you can most learn from, if you're willing to fall on a few swords, is people saying, I don't like you. I don't like what you do. You suck. You're incompetent. I've had plenty of people at my job accuse me of incompetence, but I have taken those as learning experiences and gotten better. Phil doesn't see it that way, because you know what? In 2024, you're always going to have somebody say that you're incompetent, whether you're an internet streamer, a barista, or a guy who works for an insurance company. Take those with a massive grain of salt, but also maybe learn from them, you know? Maybe people that don't like your content have a point. Maybe that's why we do what we do. Maybe that's why there's an army of trolls that formed up around you, because we have a point, and maybe it's valid.
Fast. Radical Joel says, I have a suggestion. While waiting for a match, wait in the training room. If you go to the training room, it constantly puts you there after every match. We could try that. Do you want me to try that?
There's a reason I look incompetent. I'm forever a victim.
I could try that
yeah,
his
victim complex
rather than sitting in training,
is astounding.
You know. Plus, here's the thing:
how tightly it's
training,
woven too.
Then I can't talk to you guys. If the whole point is after every 2 to 3 sets we sit and talk and chill, then I'd rather do that than be sitting in training and now, I gotta play. You know what I mean? I don't know. Let's talk about it on Monday. Let's try to figure it out on Monday.
Yeah, I hate Army, Fear Monarch. Yeah, dude, that was nuts. By the way, did I? Oh, you saw the last clip. All right. Why am I using the back button like a fucking? Oh, breathe in. I heard about this, but I didn't watch it. Someone in the Discord mentioned this to me on Monday morning when I was sitting down to work. and they were like, "Hey, did you hear he did this?" No.
Hate Army.
Shout out to hate.
Good vibes to the
Shout out to
Army.
hate.
Shout out to hate.
Shout out
Shout out to hate.
Shout out to hate.
Shout out for hate.
Well, Fort Worth raised. No. Apparently Phil can't. I can talk and play. Like, for me, like, I hate. Okay, I'm just gonna say something that's like a major pet peeve of mine. I don't like when detractors compare themselves directly to Phil, and that sounds weird, but the reason I don't like it that much is Phil is such a low bar. I don't want to compare myself to Phil ever, even just to say that I'm better than him, you know? Because to be better than Phil at something isn't much. That's not a very high bar to clear. But what I will say, those of you who have come by my Hitman streams on my Logan K channel, I'll be playing hardcore fucking Hitman Freelancer, doing elusive targets, all this hard Hitman shit, and I'll be talking about whatever, movies, books, whatever the chat wants to talk about. It's not hard. Multitasking while streaming is a muscle. You develop it over time, and Phil has gone out of his way to keep everything compartmentalized. He keeps the talk in one spot. He keeps the gameplay in one spot. He keeps the chat in one spot. That is a great pause, isn't it?
So here's the deal, everyone. Tonight, Dark Souls 1
Why are we getting
continues
like
on here on
potato
DSP
mode?
Throwback. Picking up
There we
right where
go.
we left
That's a
off
little
last
better.
week, where I was getting my ass handed to me by the Obsidian Demon thing. Or Demon Titanite, whatever it's called, the Titanite. I think it's called the Titanite.
Yeah. So, Broside Phil, that is a good point. You can compare your previous self to Phil, because to be honest, I see a lot of my younger self in Phil. I was a guy who would start a lot of projects with friends involved and not finish them. I lost a lot of friends in my younger years from being kind of a flaky, unreliable, like self-victimizing person. I went through a really rough period after I had to leave a job and was unemployed for 9 months, where I was basically like I was a depressed wreck, and I wasn't really talking to anyone. And when I was talking to people, I was very like venomous and like very kind of snippy towards them. And I lost a lot of longtime friends over that experience, because I was kind of being a DSP about it. I was expecting people to like feel sorry for me, when a lot of my friends at the time were like, "No, dude, you need to like just get good." Like, I remember talking to a friend of mine when I was going through a whole, I was very sick. I was unemployed. All this. I had like 5 bad things happening to me at the same time. And my buddy was like, "Listen, dude, like sitting around and feeling sorry for yourself is not going to want to make people spend time with you or help you. You need to find a way to live your life and move forward, because if you don't live your life and move forward, it's just going to be this. So what do you want?" So then I took some accountability for myself, found a job that I could do, got that job, and became a better, son, brother, boyfriend, and friend as a result. At your worst time, sometimes you have to look at yourself and be like, maybe I'm the piece of shit who needs to get better. And Phil has never done that. I had a time in my life where I was being a massive piece of shit to all of my friends and family. And granted, I was sick. I was unemployed. I wasn't feeling well. But a friend of mine was like, "Dude, that's no excuse." He basically was like, "You need people now. Like, you can't get through what you're going through without people. But if you keep acting like this, you're not going to have people that want to be around you and help you anymore. So, like, snap the fuck out of it." And I did. So here I am, right. I guess. I don't know.
And we're going to do about 2 to 2.5 hours of reacting, probably around 5.
But Phil never fucking
like
did
usually
that.
Do. This will be a very interactive stream.
The opportunity he could have had, and I always think about this, the opportunity he could have had if he, great pause again, if he looked for a job after he got laid off from Sikorsky and still slammed videos onto YouTube? Can you imagine if he was making 20 grand a month on top of a regular salary from some other company with health benefits and a retirement plan? Imagine that, dude. That would have been incredible. I mean, knowing what we know now about his personality and habits, he probably would have pissed that money away too. But at least he would have had a structured retirement plan from a company and health insurance. He would have been like objectively better off, right? I don't know. It's just something that I've thought about is like, what if he actually looked for another job? Because to be honest, like, okay, to give you all my unemployment lore, right? 2014. I worked at a TV station as a production technician. I was basically a control room guy and a sound guy. I worked at a TV station from 2011 to Thanksgiving of 2014. I remember I left that job. I left that job the day before Thanksgiving 2014 was my last job, last day. Left that. I have kidney issues. Shortly after that, like weeks after that, I found out that I was going to have kidney surgery. Real bad, real fucker of a kidney surgery. Still some of the most pain I've ever been in my entire life. So I had that, shortly after Thanksgiving 2014. And that having to have that type of surgery when you're unemployed, you got nothing to do but sit and hurt and be in pain all the time. I was just dude. I was just the most insufferable guy for a while. But I came back from that, if you think about it. So if you think about Phil, the idea that he could have straight up gotten another job after Sikorsky and still put out YouTube videos at night, he would have had fuck you money by now.
Where we can talk and hang out as we watch. It doesn't have to be just me hyper focused on the game or anything like that.
Yeah. Well,
no,
Broside Phil,
original,
that's the beauty of a retirement plan.
Screen before they turned it into a meme.
You don't look at it. Oh, that's the actual meme?
Original screen.
Okay.
This is not the meme that you're thinking of. This is actually a frame from Punch-Out.
But that is the meme. It's like slightly altered, but it is the meme.
Sad, but that's life. We lose the best people early, right? But I really don't want to talk about that all night. I said my piece on that yesterday in that video. So, the titles for my Illinois.
Also pour some out for Super Blind Man.
Remastered. It's the remastered version of my 2011 playthrough. Hence, why every thumbnail says 2011 and everything says 2011 in it. So, yeah, it's not incorrect titling. It's people being sticklers and idiots and not reading and then complaining about it. There you go.
No, but the titling is misleading though because you're led to believe that, like, no, you know what? I'm gonna let that one go. I wanted to do a relatively short stream, and this is not going to be a relatively short stream.
Just like people are ignorant and complaining, saying I monetized my tribute video to my deceased friend Super Blind Man when I did not. It's
except like you did in a way. You still farmed likes and engagement off of that video. The best thing to do would have been not to make the video and reply to, excuse me. The best thing to do would be to not make that video and just reply to his wife's tweet. That's what I would have done. I've had friends die. I've had close friends die. Recently, I had 2 close friends die of COVID. And I've been making content since before we had taken L's. I didn't make tribute videos to those people. I just either went to the memorials or signed the guest book or whatever. What DSP could have done is just replied to the tweet. Just reply to a single tweet. That's all you had to do. That's all he had to do, but he made it about him. That's his problem. He can never, ever resist making something about him at all times. He had to make it about him, but he could have just replied to a tweet like everyone else. That's why people are giving you shit, Phil, to be honest. You could have just replied to a tweet and moved on, but you had to make it about yourself. And honestly, after the WPIG stream that ALT did on it, he and Super Blind Man were not on the best fucking terms. There's a reason Super Blind Man just stopped coming around, Phil.
Completely demonetized. There's no way I can make money on that video, but idiots say that I did anyway because they just say whatever they want because they're uneducated idiots. So, it is what it is. People are dumb.
Jay, thank you, brother. I was just about to raise this point. If he turned off comments, he would not have been able to accept Super Thanks because Super Thanks is technically a monetized comment.
Okay.
I mean, I will grant that.
Well, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you, Jay.
But no, I would say don't charge back because you can't. It's not possible.
JWaso 989 took an L. Turning off comments disables Super Thanks.
Yeah, and we are being a bit petty, but you know what? Phil plays petty semantics games all the time. The fact that he would even think about farming engagement from a dead man is objectionable, and Phil is lower than scum for doing it. Especially a guy who, by all accounts, at the end of their, let's say, saga, didn't like him that much. Like, I don't think Super Blind Man would have taken kindly to you doing that for him. I don't think he fucking wants a DSP tribute video. He didn't like you at the end.
All right, we're gonna get started in a moment because, like I said, I want to do about 2 to 2.5 hours tonight. No, Super Thanks is not monetization tied to an individual video, you incredible buffoon. You can't.
But it's still money you get. It's still money you get, you asshole.
Can't turn Super Thanks off videos. You can only turn Super Thanks off your entire channel on and off with a switch.
I will grant him that YouTube is kind of obtuse in how they present Super Thanks. It's not clear that a Super Thanks is considered a comment. Thus, turning comments off turns Super Thanks off, but he didn't have to respond like this. This is the problem that he always faces. When someone will say, well, actually, you could have disabled that. He could have very diplomatically said, well, actually, Super Thanks is a channel-wide toggle, because it is. Anybody with a monetized channel, whether you're ad monetization or just members and supers. Here we don't run ads at all. We're just memberships and supers. It's a channel-wide toggle. People know that. He could very easily just say, no, it's a channel-wide toggle. There's nothing I can really do, instead of calling the guy an idiot and a buffoon. His problem is he creates more issues for himself by responding like this.
So if you're listening to someone telling you that, they're lying to you, and you are a very gullible fool.
Viewer retention. Calling your viewers gullible fools.
Because they probably have monetization on their channel too, so they're lying to you because they know you're stupid. There you go. I don't know.
Semi-correction here. Anybody that gives money to Phil is stupid. It is stupid, right? At this point, if you're giving money to Phil, you are stupid. But you do have a point about Super Thanks, so I do want to correct him on that.
To say. Okay. See, just keep going.
My
Here's the
layout's
next thing.
all
Oh,
fucked
now
up.
you're asking for
Sorry,
tips.
everybody.
I asked for tips in that video, did I? No, you got banned. You're a fucking idiot. I didn't ask for tips in any fucking...
And also, he hits the nuclear button every time. This is also another thing that, like, makes no sense. Whenever he disagrees with someone, he bans them. No timeout, no, like, just basic punitive measure. It's always the nuclear fucking button. It's always, nope, you disagree, you're out. Just put someone in timeout. We time people out around here. You guys honestly are great. We rarely have problems in any of our stuff with anybody causing trouble. But when we do, it's brief and we deal with it. Most of the time we time them out.
Video you're talking about, you're a complete loser. Get the fuck off the planet. Like, go to Mars or something. Leave us alone. Go live on Pluto. You fucking Complete mouth drooler. Oh, I do have to keep calling people idiots that deserve it, because people need to know an idiot when they see one. There's no reason to be nice to people who actively try to hurt you because they think that it's funny. That's why these people are acting like this.
No, you could just ignore it. Like, people troll my shit all the time over on the Logan Gay channel. I get so many troll comments on my videos saying, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Hitman, you're not good. Just ignore it, man. It's not a big deal. It's engagement. It's engagement, dude. Positive and negative engagement helps your channel. Just ignore it. That is how you fucking monetize trolls, to be honest. Just let that negative engagement go, because they're actually making your channel easier to see when they engage with it in that way.
Yes. Trust me, these people don't care about this. They just want to continue their toxic narrative towards me. So as long as they do that, I will continue to call them out for what they are.
You set the narrative, Phil.
Pluto is a
we
gas
just talk
planet,
about
even
it.
better.
No, Pluto.
That's where they belong.
Would be like most.
Go there.
Okay,
Yeah.
Pluto is a planetoid. It's not a gas planet. I guess it could be most closely considered an ice giant because it's rock and ice. I'm a fucking space nerd, even though it's not an ice giant. But I digress.
Just breathe in the gas and leave all of us alone.
And now turn the ovens on.
Breathe
Sounds good to
in.
me.
Oh, so that was okay. So that was the context. Go to Pluto, breathe in the gas, and leave us all. Okay, that's still you telling people you want them to disappear, though. Still toxic, dude.
That sounds perfect. Wow. Yeah. Suck it right in. Okay.
Red Dwarf, yes. Stray Fox.
All right, shall we
Yeah,
begin?
Stray Fox. You know, you actually do have a good point on that. If you make your comments a debate, if you make your comments in chat a debate space, it's just good, because discourse is good as long as it's logically based, but also it's engagement.
I think it's time to start. So if any contributions come in, I will shout them out.
Gas
You know the
on
deal.
Pluto. That's
when
right.
it comes
big guy.
to my streams, I try to raise $50 every stream of tips. Okay, and anything else appreciated. Usually we do pretty darn good on the retro
Anything
React
else
stream,
appreciated,
so
but
no
I'll
complaints
still
from
ask
me.
you for the same
Thank you
amount
guys.
of money
Please support
next
the streams
stream.
if you can. And let's get going. If we haven't hit $100 of tips, I'll put on the Dumas helmet, which is funny because I'm basically wearing the Dumas helmet in the game. So it'd be pretty cool to be wearing the Dumas helmet while I'm also wearing it in game. That'd be pretty perfect. I just received a $2.42 tip,
No,
which is our first tip of the
Roach
night.
Bait.
I wasn't.
Mars is cold. Mars is cold, not hot. You'd freeze on Mars. What's he talking about? The
rolling about
okay.
the LA Noire title.
I don't
I
want
thought
a
maybe the
space
remastered
bird
version
right
of the
now.
game
I
you were
can't
playing. I've
space
been a big
bird,
fan
but
since
you'd
2011
freeze on
of the
Mars.
content.
You wouldn't
No,
burn.
you were repeating the
Mars
same,
is not a hot
troll meme
planet.
that everyone else did. When I started the LA Noire playthrough on this channel about, a month and a half ago, literally all of my trolls decided to try to flood the channel with comments saying, why am I calling it remastered? Because it's the 2011 playthrough that's been remastered with 30-minute
Stray
parts,
Fox, you think he's 60 frames per second, conflating or he's confusing
titles,
Mars with
thumbnails, and the
Mercury.
like. That's
Probably.
why it's remastered. It's a remastered version of my playthrough. It's not the remastered game. It doesn't say that. It says remastered 2011. So if you read, you would understand what it says, but people don't.
But it's misleading. It's misleading because the game came out in 2011, and I think the remaster came out in 2016 or so. The remaster came out years later. It's misleading titling because when you look at it, it's not immediately apparent what it actually is. And the reason for that is no one else does this shit. No one else remasters their own content. People don't do it. That's the weird fucking thing, is that people just don't do it like at all. It's not something that happens. So of course there's no like standard for it. This light's too bright. I gotta turn it down. There we go. It's better.
Read, they just assume, and then they complain because they want to cause problems. You literally regurgitated the same detractor meme from a month ago, so I don't care. Okay.
So Shiny Teeth is talking about 60 FPS clickbait. I don't clickbait 60 FPS. All of my games are 60 FPS on my streams because I play on PC. But I'm secure enough with my setup and myself to know I don't have to put 60 FPS in the title or description. There you go.
Nice try, though. I think that my
It's
gifted
my light.
memberships may
My
refresh
light
next
is
week
is
because
doing
it should
stuff.
be the new month. Don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure, but it would be nice to see. Maybe next week we'll actually have more gifted memberships for all of you. All right. But in the meantime, it has come.
Oh
to
yeah, Shiny Teeth. That's right. Phil did 60 FPS on his Fallout. He used to say there was a time on the Xbox 360 when he used to say HD playthrough of Mercenaries 2, whatever. He used to clickbait all that shit. But you know what? Everybody did. Everybody clickbaited back when like HD was coming out. And even a few years ago when 4K became viable to stream and popular, people were clickbaiting 4K. People still clickbait 4K today. I mean, all is fair game. I mean, you can be shameless.
And we'll continue on. Thank you for watching, everyone. I will see you in the next part of Dark Souls 1. Okay. Good stuff so far, everybody. Thank you, everyone chilling with me. Thanks to those who have supported the stream so far tonight. I appreciate it. So far.
So Nerd Brew and Misery Merchant, big ups to the both of you. You guys are great. In the chat are talking about how AVGN might do a Blu-ray collection, and Merch is pointing out that James Rolfe putting out a Blu-ray compilation of things that he's done for people who want it is not the same as begging people who watch his existing content to come and support the streams on DSP Throwback and DSP Reacts. Not the same as flipping your own content again, because there's not begging it. Like, having an AVGN Blu-ray compilation is a value add. That's actually something I might buy, because I actually was a big AVGN fan, like early college, like 2008, 2009. Some of my best friends in college that I made, we bonded over a lot of early AVGN stuff, like that legendary Plumbers Wear Ties review. If you know, you know. And if you haven't seen it, go find the AVGN review of Plumbers Wear Ties. It's fucking legendary. Very good.
6 gifted memberships, thank you, and a few super chats. No tips have come in at all yet tonight, at least from what I can see. Remember, guys, my goal
no tips.
Is
no tips.
$50 in tips. And I consider it a pretty successful stream. If we can get that, that would be absolutely great. And if we happen to hit the hat goal of $100, I will put on the Dumas
Fear Monarch
helmet.
knows what I'm talking about.
That literally is inspired by the Dark Souls helmet. That's why I have this, to wear it during Dark Souls playthroughs and events.
Oh yeah,
so there we go. I'll do that.
Yeah, Fallout 4.
That goal tonight.
Well, Shiny Teeth, he kind of accidentally clickbaited Fallout 4, and then he realized what he did. He realized what he ended up doing and showed no remorse. Which, like, I am of the mindset that when you're trying to grow a channel, you have to be shameless in some ways, but you can't be deceptive. Because ultimately, if you use deceptive practices to grow a channel, you're not going to keep those viewers around. You want to present the things that you create and put out there honestly. The worst thing for viewer retention and engagement on YouTube is presenting something in your title and description as something it's not, and that's the problem that Phil suffered from. That's why Phil only retained people for like 30 to 45 seconds on that video, because his title and description presented it like he got the Fallout 4 update a day early when he didn't. He just changed the setting on his Xbox. So that's the problem.
In the meantime, I just wanted to stretch my legs very briefly.
Oh, Merch, you like current AVGN? No. I don't like current AVGN. Ever since Screenwave, nope.
My
it's a no for me.
Picture here was so far back, like it was
no
set
for
way
me
over there, and I was trying to remember why. I remember one month maybe I had a big picture on it or something. Anyway,
Fellow
This is the new setup
tractor.
for July
Hey
9th
man, if
tonight,
it comes,
guys.
it comes.
A little preview of it. This is how it's going to look for the month of
I
July.
don't need money from this channel to survive,
Okay.
so I'm not gonna ask for it. Oh yeah, overfill, dude. I would watch James Rolfe or Doug Walker. Even the shittiest shit that Doug Walker produced, and he's produced some shitty shit. I would watch Nostalgia Critic any day over Phil. And I don't like Nostalgia Critic. Nostalgia Critic is something that just never hit for me. I find him annoying. I think his voice is weird. I just think he's weird. He doesn't hit for me. And I'd watch any of his stuff over
All right,
Phil.
so this person is absolutely insisting that despite the fact that they word for word regurgitated the detractor meme, that they're not a detractor. They tipped again. And they're apologizing and saying, I had no idea. I've watched you for years. It's just a really bad coincidence. All right. Well,
dude, there's people that tip him and say big ups and feels bad, man. And he reads those. And big ups and feels bad, man are like two of the most prominent detractor memes there are. And he reads that shit. You mean to tell me that he somehow senses some obscure detractor meme that he won't even repeat, but routinely, almost on the daily, reads off stuff that says big ups and feels bad, man? Get fucked, Phil. No, you don't.
well, just so you know, no one can see you in chat because when you regurgitated that retractor meme, I banned you, and that was ages ago, so I can't scroll far enough up. If you email me your information, I will consider... Wait a minute. Is it? No, this is not. This actually was a legit troll. If you actually email me, I'll look into unbanning you. But you have to email me your channel address on YouTube. I'm trying to find it, but
I got my girlfriend to start saying feels
I think it
bad,
was
man.
the-
Just
one
for
of the
like
earlier things
average
tonight,
stuff
so sadly, I
happening. It's
can't
really
even,
funny.
see it.
She says big
Unban
ups and
you.
feels bad, man, like all the time now. She
I'm
does.
just
She
double
does watch
checking.
Tevin.
No.
She says Tevin is very fun to have on in the background. I agree. I am a background Tevin enjoyer.
Yeah,
His streams
so
are very
email me
easy
and,
listening.
and we'll look into it. Okay, let's actually watch now.
She does not watch these streams, by the way. I told her not to. There's nothing bad about these streams. I'm proud of what we do around here, but she doesn't need to watch these. Cause I tell her about all this shit. I'm talking to her about Phil all the time. She gets annoyed by it. She's a saint for doing that. Oh, I don't know about this one. Gay Mafia. Oh, whoops. I opened it in another window, not another tab. Hold on. There we go.
It's the hate army, bro.
Hate army.
Shout out to
It's Tevin's fault. That's right, Slurm.
Shout out to hate. Shout out to hate.
Shout out
Shout out to hate.
Shout out to hate.
Shout out for hate.
My girlfriend says 2 big bills.
All
Like
right,
when
let's
it's
try to
time to
watch
pay
one
the
more
bills,
video
she
in this
says
part
2 big
before we
bills.
split
Since I can remember, I've been told that I have
Yeah.
a gay voice, and the internet loves to tell me that I sound like the honey badger.
It's only 9 days ago. All right, let's see.
Oh, the honey badgers are just crazy.
Honey badger.
804k views 9 days ago? Fuck, man. This video is, it's good.
It's only 9 days ago. All right, let's see.
Oh, the honey badgers are just crazy.
So, is there such a thing as a gay voice? Like, is it quantifiable? If we take out all the slay, boots the house down, and remove any visual or behavioral
Okay,
clues,
I'm already
could you still tell?
I'm
So
already annoyed by this video just because it's, I don't know. I've had a day and it's annoying to me, so I can imagine Phil.
surprisingly, science has a lot to say about it.
Get out, get out, get out.
In order to study gay versus straight voices, researchers look at parameters such as pitch variation. Like
Oh, yeah,
how
this
much a
is
person's
hard
pitch
bait,
changes
Nerd Brew.
as they talk.
This is
duration
such
values for
juicy bait.
vowels and consonants, aka how long people hold their A, E, I, O, U sounds, or how long people hold their S's.
Oh,
And some
yes,
studies
yeah,
just
yes.
straight up get random people to listen to
There
people
is no
talk
help,
and try to
Seal,
judge
only
whether they
me.
thought that
No
person
help is
speaking
coming.
was gay or straight.
Results
No
find that
help
gay
is coming.
men speak with higher pitch variation, meaning that their range from low to high is much more extreme than straight.
Wow.
Not surprised we have
From deep bass to falsetto, like flick of a switch. That is, as someone who has sang, that is very hard to do.
range, honey.
Pick up,
These
dude.
pitch studies were done in many languages like English, Dutch, and French, and in all cases, gay men spoke with higher pitch variation.
My exposure
meaning
is
the gay
too high.
voice expands
I gotta turn down
beyond
my
language
exposure.
and
Well,
isn't
that's
just
too
the
far.
words or culture we engage in.
I'm curious, why did it begin? What started that?
Okay. Whoa.
Was it because basically there was a desire to feel
Fucked
more
up.
effeminate, perhaps? And you
What?
felt that
What is this, Phil?
women have higher
Here,
pitched
I'll do
voices,
this.
so trying to maybe emulate that? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I have no idea. Maybe they'll say.
Gay men were also found to have
Here,
longer
I'm gonna do
vowel
this.
durations for A, I,
Pop.
and oo, aka they hold these vowels longer in general when they speak compared to straight men. But
Really?
gay men are
Yes.
also more likely to hold their S sound for longer than straight people. Gay people holding their S for longer may make you think of the quintessential like gay lisp, which is very triggering to me. Like as a kid, everyone would always make fun of me and say I sounded like super
that.
Philly Billy.
Oh,
so
God.
sadly, there is some
That's South Park right there. That's the South Park.
This is
Big
really
Gay Al's
bad.
voice. Yeah.
truth to like those bullies making fun of me about that. But it's also a common misconception because a lisp is when you misarticulate your
I
S's,
fucked up my
whereas
video-
gay
I fucked up
people
my
are
camera.
more likely to over-articulate the S. In fact, studies show that gay men are no more
Now I'm
likely
all-
to have a lisp
Here, I'll
than
fix
straight
this.
men. Finally, when studying gay versus straight men, it was found that gay men were more likely
I'll-
to articulate than straight men, which totally makes sense to me. All my straight guy friends are always like, "Oh yeah, hey man, do you want to like I'm always like, "Okay, what?"
Because of these findings, it was hypothesized that perhaps the vocal differences between straight and gay men were due to hormones, like differences in testosterone, possibly.
Hormones. How would hormones affect how you pronunciate? That doesn't even make sense to me. Or the pitch.
Well, they affect your
you
development.
argue that
Hormones
depending on your hormones, it could change the pitch
impact
of
your
vocal
development,
cords?
and
That I don't know.
your voice
Scientifically,
is
has that been proven?
something
But
you
after
develop.
studying this, it was found that gay men have just as much testosterone as straight men. So
Guess
instead,
not.
researchers began
No.
looking into environmental differences as a possible explanation.
It turns out both gay men and straight men change their voice based on who is listening. It's important to note that while some people
Yeah, it's
may feel
called
gay men
code
talk
switching.
more like women,
It's a thing
the
people do.
research doesn't fully support this idea. There are
Here, I'm going back to this.
So, even though the research doesn't support it, if you're gay, you want people to know you're gay. Well, what circles does that matter? Your friends, right? It doesn't matter in the workplace. In the workplace,
Yes,
your
it
sexual
does.
orientation has
Wait.
no merit.
But okay, so I understand what he's trying to say is that like the fact that you're gay doesn't have any bearing in the workplace. It doesn't have any bearing on the work that you do or the work that you should be assigned or roles you should be promoted into and whatnot. But I have had plenty of gay friends that want people to know that they're gay. That's a very important thing. I have had gay friends that do not look or sound or do anything stereotypically gay. They're for lack of a better term, and this is me going into Phil territory, but I've had gay friends that are kind of manly, like just stereotypical, just regular looking dudes. And they've told me, I want people to know I'm gay so that I don't get approached by women because I'd rather not be approached by women. You know what I mean? So that's like a real thing. Like for a lot of people who are gay, it matters. You may be in situations where you'd want people to know immediately that you're gay and not straight. So Phil is wrong. And this comes from him just not having friends and not being out in the world. Because if he had a gay friend or if he was out in the world, he would know.
At all. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter. So in the workplace, you're going to have the more monotone voice. But if you're in a social circle and you need people to know that you're gay for various different reasons, then you would accentuate the voice so that people know. I guess that's what they're saying, but I guess they're saying that the research didn't back that up.
some syllables and ways that we speak that are similar to women, but gay voice has its own unique characteristics as well. In other words, it adopts some female features, but others are completely unrelated.
We actually have an entire podcast episode diving into
His
the science
camera
of gay
blocks
face
so
on our
much.
Side Note podcast.
I hate
you
it.
can click it on the screen here or use the link in the description if you want to check it out on YouTube.
And that's it. Okay. Well, I mean, I'll be honest. They didn't really answer the question, did they? I thought they didn't really answer the question of why do gay people sound like that at all.
Phil, does he not understand that like making an objective statement of this is why these people sound like this would be a bad idea would in itself be bigoted and problematic. This video is just a theory. It's just a theory. It's just to get you thinking about it. It's to get you understanding why certain people sound the way they do. How does he not understand that, like, making an objective statement about why gay people sound the way they do would be very bad from like a PR perspective? You wouldn't do it.
You know, I guess the best answer would be, yeah, because it differentiates yourself from straight people. If you want people to know in a social circle that you're gay.
Wait, okay. So tell me this, chat. Those of you who are watching at the time, is this real or is this a Hate Army edit? Is this stream unavailable? Is this a Hate Army edit or is this real? I need to know. Oh no, his stream went down. His stream did go down.
Okay.
Yeah, Chody says it's real. Shiloh. Well, it is
So
just
the
a
stupid
game
thing
theory,
happened where
Shiloh.
YouTube identified that video as someone else's content and decides to block the stream despite the fact that reacting to content is completely allowed on YouTube.
You weren't transformative enough, you fuck. We react to your shit all the time and we never get claimed. There were restreamers reacting to your shit and they didn't get claimed.
Isn't that nice? Really, it's all about who you know and what partner network you're in. So obviously they were in a partner.
There are no partner networks. Does he not know that there are no partner networks? Done. There are no MCNs anymore. None. The channel is itself. There are no fucking MCNs. This is how out of touch he is. There have not been MCNs for like 6 years. What's he talking about?
Network that basically blocks anyone's attempts to do anything with their content, which is pretty fucking stupid. Like, what on earth shouldn't I have reacted to there? It doesn't even make sense, right?
No. So this is a Wired video. Wired has obviously opted into Content ID. And when you opt into Content ID, you can, if you're of a certain size, you can auto flag your videos so that the content kind of gets flagged in real time. Something like Wired would do that. I guess to give him a little bit of credit, Wired would be the closest thing to like a partner network because they're a channel owned and operated by a major like media corporation. But still, there are no fucking partner networks, you fucking idiot.
Whatever. We're back. If that ever happens, it's just a 3-minute wait and then the stream just comes right back. So no worries there, guys. But I think you see my point when I say, sadly, these videos don't get monetized. That's your perfect example.
And now,
so
you
this
beg.
stream cannot be monetized.
Now you
and that video
beg.
cannot be monetized because it has that content in it. Okay? So, if you enjoy the React show...
But you tend to say before the React stream. He'll say this on a Sunday pre-stream. I've heard it. Before which day is React Day? I don't even fucking know. It's Sunday, right? Yeah, it's Sunday. He'll say it on a pre-stream. Now, guys, if you could support me today, that'd be great because we're gonna do the React stream later, and that's gonna get demonetized. He'll say it. He'll preemptively say it. So now he says, well, you need to support me because now this video is demonetized. Like, get fucked, dude.
Guys, please support it. Right now,
yeah, that's what I was saying, Game Master. Partner networks have not been a thing since like 2016 or 17.
Super chat, a super sticker,
they've been gone.
A gifted membership or a tip.
Susan put the hammer down on partner networks so fucking hard.
I would at least consider it a pretty good stream. So please consider supporting if you can. Thank you in advance.
Just to weigh in on this, I think no partner networks are a net fucking positive because you don't have people like DSP that have special protections. I still will say DSP in his own way has his own weird special protection because he certainly does enough objectionable things that may raise eyebrows, but he's like just small enough that nobody cares. So in a way he is kind of protected because I've had shit get taken down on this channel, and I've had shit get taken down on the Logan K channel for a lot less than what he does. Just saying.
Anyone who does, okay? And let's get ready to resume here, okay?
He is mentally challenged, roach bait.
Okay, are we ready?
I think he
we
has
go.
a learning disability, like a moderate to severe
Hello,
one.
everyone, and welcome back to DSP versus the Internet, episode 71. This is now part 2. We're continuing on.
And to be clear, I say he has a learning disability as someone with multiple learning disabilities. I know it sounds weird, but I say that from experience, from understanding what people with learning disabilities act like and how it manifests. He's definitely got something. He ain't neurotypical, I'll tell you that.
Member submissions. Let's see what this one's about. Why you can never argue with a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, that's a good one. Why you can never argue with a conspiracy theorist. I almost wish the clip kept on rolling. Hate Army. Big ups. Big ups, Hate Army. Let's see, we did that. Gay Mafia. We did. Breathe In. DSP wants to gatekeep. Oh, we've heard about the Bison Tech. I don't know what this one is. This 3-minute thing. I don't know.
It's High Army, bro.
Shut up for hate.
So Derek the second is asking what type of learning disabilities do you think he has? This is gonna sound weird, but I grew up with friends that had global developmental delays, and I think he has some kind of developmental delay. I think it's more having to do with mental and emotional rather than pure intellectual delays, because he is pretty functional in a sense when it comes down to his everyday life in terms of his ability to eat and dress himself. I know you're going to say that it's debate, that stuff's debatable, but he's at least functional on that level. But in terms of his emotional intelligence, he has none. And in terms of his social skills, he has none. He has no coping skills. He has no ability to self-soothe. That strikes me as some kind of developmental delay. It always had. Because I had friends who grew up in a situation like his, and they acted kind of like him when they were younger. But the thing is, through time, therapy, intervention, and conditioning, you can move past a lot of that and become better and condition yourself to function in social situations, develop emotional intelligence, and all of that. DSP was just his own little special boy who didn't get any of the training or nurturing you need in order to cope with something like that as a kid. And I think that's why we have the man we have. Seal, I can't speak intelligently on whether or not it's TISM. I don't have firsthand experience with folks on the spectrum because I am not on the spectrum. I've had good friends that are on the spectrum, but even so, I don't feel comfortable speaking whether or not it's TISM. Like from an objective standpoint, I just personally don't. I don't think it's TISM. I just don't. I think it would be too easy to lump a lot of his weird habits in with autism when it could just as easily be something else.
What is up, everyone? Hello, and welcome.
Yeah, Broside Phil. That's kind of what I'm trying to say is that I would agree with Steve, and again, I can't speak with the authority that Steve does. I don't think it's TISM at all because I think he has such an odd range of things where it seems like more of a mental or emotional delay than, straight up autism. Autism would almost too easily explain a handful of things, but not all.
It's time to end my streaming week. A little early this week. Usually
I
Wednesday
have
would be
not
my
heard
final
of rejection
streaming day. This
sensitivity
this week it is
dysphoria.
Tuesday because
I can look that up. Again, I'm not a scholar. I'm not a mental health professional or expert. I only know from having friends with disabilities that grew up and growing up as a kid with some learning delays and what have you. So that's the only thing I'm really comfortable speaking with any authority on because I have firsthand experience.
Appointments and things.
But
lined up
I'll
for
look that
tomorrow.
up. Rejection
Really has to do with the
sensitivity
4th of July
dysphoria.
holiday. Had to do
Sounds fascinating
because not everything is available on 4th of July here in the United States. So,
Oh yes,
everyone,
tomorrow's
and
the
welcome
4th.
to the night stream, the chill stream of Stardew Valley. No, Derek, me changing my day off had absolutely nothing to do with it being the 4th of July intentionally. But the thing is, it so happens that there were a few
I mean, but you said stuff is not going to be open on the 4th. So
things that my
well,
wife
it
and I
doesn't
had to do
matter.
while we were out, some appointments we had to make. And good luck
Oh,
getting
thank you,
those
Nugs.
on the 4th of July.
I appreciate that.
So we ended up having to change our day off to a custom.
Gentlemen, I try to be scholar. I don't know. I do read a lot. I like to read. I don't think people read enough. And that's one of the things I always say about Phil is that like he needs to read more. Because to out myself as like a weird hermit, I don't leave the house all that much. I leave the house maybe a few times a week. I can say I definitely don't leave the house every day. But I do get out. I do have friends and I do read. Even something as simple as reading books can definitely help with maintaining your intellectual intelligence, maintaining your emotional intelligence, because reading a book forces you to put yourself into another person's perspective just by virtue of how narrative literature works, because you are either from the third person perspective of someone by an omniscient narrator or via a first person account of a fictional tale, having to empathize with people. And I think one of the ways in which Phil is stunted, and one of my theoretical reasons, and again, this is a theory, is that he never read enough as a kid during like those key developmental years. Because I remember being a kid and reading was the thing that made me understand people and what they might be going through. You know what I mean? Because when you're a child, let's say you're 5, 6, or even 7 years old, you don't have the ability to look at other people and read their emotions like an adult does. But when you read, since you are getting all of the details from that person, from that account, you can start to formulate, oh, wow, it's terrible what that person's going through. I feel bad for them. So you start to formulate those emotional connections with those literary characters and even characters in movies to a certain extent at those very early ages. And I don't think Phil ever really did. So I think that's why he is kind of the emotionless husk we see today. Again, I can talk about my theories about why Phil from a communication perspective is stunted, because it sounds like Broside Phil comes at things from more of kind of a psych perspective, and I know Len does too, to an extent. I'd say my hang up on Phil is how he talks and how he acts, because I'm a big communication nerd. Specifically with how people talk to people, not necessarily in like lie detection or body language in a way that like Broside Phil does, but I'm more interested in, okay, well, why does this person act this way? What sort of media were they consuming? What sort of literature were they consuming, not consuming? That's kind of my area that I tend to focus on with Phil. That's why I did the movie deep dives with Lord Thunder and Decepticon last summer or whenever it was, when he was doing those reviews of the Barbarian, because I'm into looking at the media he consumes, because I think when you're talking about narcissism, the media that a narcissist consumes can tell you a lot about them. Sorry for derailing so much, but God,
to account for that, I just had forgotten about it. Like, we knew about this a
yes,
while ago.
Len, thank you for having the words. His communication reflects perspective on the world. Because communication is culture, fundamentally. So yes, so Broside Phil, I've lurked on many of your streams, to be honest. I tend to lurk on. I think you stream on Saturdays usually. I tend to lurk on Saturday mornings mostly. When I'm doing other things, but yes, I've consumed a good bit of your stuff. It's good. I like it. I like the angle you tend to come at Phil with. I think it's very interesting, because you seem like a very calm based guy, and I myself as a communications based guy, just in a different flavor. I do a different flavor of it than you do. I always like when people have variations on the same sort of angle. That's what's fascinating about the vortex. You know, you can have one person tell you about why DSP might be lying, and then you have another person talking about, you know, why he is the way he is based on the media he consumes. Very interesting place the vortex is.
Into the week, I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Shit.
Iviga's here.
I had to adjust the schedule. Jasper's good tonight. He's relaxing.
Yeah,
with Kat
Iviga.
downstairs.
I don't know. I'm in the camp where I don't
I know
take
he
Phil's
hasn't been on
body
stream
language
this week.
very seriously. I think it's funny.
He misses everyone.
I think
Yeah,
his
guys,
body
I'm gonna-
language
I'm
is
gonna
funny
point
and
right now, I
weird,
talked about this a
and
little
not
bit
like
earlier
most
today.
people's. To be
Behind
honest,
the scenes, things are pretty.
like Broside Phil and maybe Len, do you know about the idea of oculesics, the study of oculesics, which is how the eyes move? I think I heard Broside Phil. I think I heard you and Steve talking about eye movements as relating to deception versus recall. Very, very fascinating back and forth you guys had on that. Again, I don't really go much for that sort of theory in terms of recall versus deception with Phil, because again, I don't think his nonverbals are reliable, but you can definitely tell when he's nervous because his eyes get big and he checks the corner demons, you know? And I just think it's funny.
Little chaotic.
Yes,
Lot of-
Broside Phil, thank you for the qualifier. It can't be used alone. It can be used to lead you in a direction. It might even be used to support a hunch, but oculesics cannot be used alone. Because people may have different eye movements based on physical or organic factors. My personal example of that is I had a very severe lazy eye when I was young, super lazy eye, and I had corrective surgery for it like 4 times before it stuck. So the way my eyes move are not like other people's. So the way my eyes move due to an organic factor having to do with me is unreliable. Is unreliable if you're trying to catch me in a lie via eye movements. And I think the same is maybe true for Phil. Again, we can disagree. And disagreement is what civil disagreement is what makes the vortex great. But I've never really been one to put too much into eye movements. I think they're interesting, and I think they are indicative of other things. But I think we would need other receipts before diving into those.
Issues have been going on behind the scenes with me and my family, and because of that, it's affected things, and schedule's off, timing's off on certain
Yes.
things.
So Broside Phil, we're gonna make this like the body language stream, but his micro expressions, his tiny micro expressions, I think don't tell you a lot. But I think his major expressions, like the hand waving and all of the other gesticulating that he does, and the exasperated sighs, those tell you more about where he's at than the micro expressions. I actually find those more consistent and reliable than trying to do like lip licks and tiny eye movements, because none of it is standard with Phil. He's not like anybody else.
You know, my wife and I wanted to do that co-op for you guys months ago, and it just never worked out because things kept changing with schedule and health and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you every detail of my life because you don't need to know that.
Also, since we're on the subject of calm, him saying we wanted to do that co-op playthrough and it just hasn't worked out because of behind the scenes things going on with my wife and I probably means she doesn't want to do it. And she told him to stop asking her. That's my theory, because he wouldn't have couched it in this way had there still been a chance of it happening. I think co-op is dead because if he says something like, "Well, we wanted to do it for you, but it just didn't work out," I think it's dead. That's how you talk about like not a bad relationship. But that's how verbally you talk about like a girl you try to date, but it doesn't go as planned. Like, oh, how'd it go with that girl? You'd say, well, yeah, it didn't really work out. You know what I mean? He's talking about someone who had high hopes to like date a girl or whatever. And you're talking with your buddies and you're like, yeah, it didn't really work out. You know, we just couldn't connect, you know, so something came up. It sounds very much like that. Like he's dodging the question, but it's his own questions.
Stuff, nor is it really anyone's business. But, you know, I'll tell you some generalities and stuff. You know, yeah, it's been chaotic.
Len, you and I can have a discussion, and maybe Broside Phil, maybe the three of us, maybe a Logan, Len, and Broside Phil stream. Maybe we could talk about calm, because it seems like we have a lot of differing opinions on this stuff, and I think that'd be a cool stream. I'll hit you guys up in DMs. We'll figure something out. But yeah, we should get you guys on.
Behind the scenes, very stressful in certain ways, and that's life. It happens. We're in a situation right now where things are a little bit I don't know what happened there. It jumped by itself. Things are a little chaotic, and so don't really particularly know exactly what my schedule might even be for the next few weeks.
What?
My schedule may actually be like,
wait. Things are chaotic, and I don't know what my schedule is going to be for the next 2 weeks, but I set my own schedule, and I talk about my schedule every day, and I make changes to my schedule every day. Dude, my guy.
adjusting for the next few weeks on and off. I'll let you guys know when I know if anything changes.
What even is this?
If anything, the only thing that would ever change is the day off, like the day it would be. It's not like the times of day that I stream or anything like that would ever change. It's just
I watched one of the Stardew streams that ALT did, and then I was done. Because I like Stardew Valley. I haven't played it a lot, but I like it.
Let's just go straight home. That way I don't overexert myself here.
Oh, merch. That's okay. So Misery Merchant says this plus Jasper not on stream means that Kat lost another job. Maybe she doesn't want to stream with him because she's supposed to be looking for jobs. Maybe. Oh, yes, that's right. Broside Phil says, massive self-plug, by the way. Steve and I are going through part 3 of the reacting of the interview. You'll start around 14:30 Central. Okay, so around 2:30 Central time, and that's tomorrow. Cool. So that's tomorrow, correct? Correct, Broside Phil? Yeah, I think Steve mentioned that on the end of TBS today. I was listening. No, not tomorrow. Friday. Okay. Thank you, Broside Phil. So Friday at around 2:30 Central Time, they're going to be going over more of the interview. So big ups, dude. I'm always happy about that. When people want to dig into the interview, it's gold. There's still a lot of gold to be mined. But Merch says this plus Jasper not on stream means Kat lost another job. So yeah, so maybe she doesn't want to stream with him because she's supposed to be looking for jobs, and she doesn't want to. She might not want to be associated with him while looking for jobs, because like people are gonna look her up. People are gonna figure out she's married to Phil, because if it's any reputable company now, they have PIs do background checks, so they know who your spouse is. Some of them even look into your spouse to see if they have a criminal record or whatever, because they want to make sure they know exactly who they're hiring and who they're signing up for. So maybe she just wants to stay the fuck away, which is funny to me. All right. So there's nothing else I wanted to go over on Hate Army unless anybody had anything else specific. I did want to go through the Blip TV stuff because I was reminded. I was watching WPIG the other day and some clips from Blip TV came up, and I wanted to. I needed to experience this again. I had a feeling where I needed to experience this again. So let's get into it. Oh, this is from a channel called LD. I don't think they really post. I don't think they're prolific anymore. But big ups for getting this in a concise 31-minute clip.
What's going on, everyone? It's DSP here, and I wasn't going to do this, but I think it actually is better to just talk about it and get the facts straight and get it out in the open And that way, a lot of this speculation, these crazy rumors that have been going
Len,
around
that's a
today
good
will be
point
resolved.
about job
It's
searches. A lot of companies will find the actual reason to reject you, and then they just make shit up because it's very hard to prove otherwise. People have that happen to them all the time. I have been in charge of interviewing people for jobs, and I know, not hiring, but interviewing, I know for a fact some of the people that I've talked to got passed up for reasons other than the reason that people have put. Again, it's not relative to the company that I work for now. It was job roles past, but yeah, they make shit up all the time.
Pretty late here. It's 10:30 at night. But I want to get this out rather than have everyone make
Big ups, polo thermal sweater, by the way.
I unfortunately I canceled my second. I don't know what to call it. Not an appointment.
Yes,
but
Len. It's
my
not
second
ethical, but
session,
that's
there you
life.
go, of fan appreciation videos, which were going to be Black Ops. I was going to play with everyone.
Black
It's supposed to be
Ops.
from 7 to 10 p.m. The reason I had to cancel is because something pretty serious happened today.
He's got
now,
no
just
doubts.
to resolve all the rumors. No, it has nothing to do with my health. Has nothing to do with an accident or a family member or anything like that. I kind
It
of
is
hoped
business.
that you wouldn't think that, because in my previous video today that I talked about this, I said, you know, that I'm going to be moving my gameplay footage back to DSP Gaming on YouTube. But I guess it wasn't apparently clear. So I apologize to anyone who had a misconception.
Oh my
of
God,
something
we're getting a
crazy was going on
pre-stream.
like that. It is
We're
not.
getting a
So
pre-stream
that's good
for the
news.
thing. Come on.
But what we're going to talk about is basically exactly what happened today.
I don't know. Broside Phil
and my
says
status
this
on
is
Blip
ripped
TV.
Phil, right?
Now,
I don't think this is ripped Phil.
some very quick background.
I don't know.
I've been on Blip TV.
It looks
now for
kinda
about a
chunky
month,
to
and
me.
I put up a bunch
I
of
don't know.
different things. First of all, I carried many of my series from this channel, The King of Hate HD, over to there when I was basically suspended from the Google AdSense program. Since then, I also started doing, and I hate to call them these, but Let's Plays.
There we
over
go.
on,
Let's play Venom.
Blip TV.
Yes.
But also I did my year-end videos, my Game of the Year awards, all kinds of content I've been putting up. My New York City trip I have over there. Okay. So far, so
you know
good.
what?
Blip for the past month
I
has been
should
extremely
find the New York City trip, and we'll watch that. As someone who spends a good amount of time in New York City fairly regularly, I would like to see that trip.
First
to be
of all,
honest.
they upgraded me to HD videos for free.
Let me see if I can find that.
They contacted me, okay? I have one particular person who's been working with me for a month. He's helped me with so many things that I had questions on.
Yeah,
problems,
there is
things
a
like
bit of a
that.
jiggle to
and
him.
I also passed questions through
I
him.
think-
For
I
example,
think
one of
bro
my
side
first
Phil.
questions to him was,
Hard to tell in
"Listen,
this
a lot of
sweater.
the stuff
This
that I
this
do,
sweater
this
definitely
video game
masks
footage, is that
masks
acceptable?"
some
He said,
curves,
"As
my
long
guy.
as there's something to the footage that
I'm gonna see if I can
basically
find
makes it
his
a
New York
transformative
trip.
work, okay? It's
Because I'm
acceptable
very
on
curious
Blip.tv.
about
Now,
that.
what that means is a Let's Play where I'm giving live review and
said it was on the
commentary
Dark
and
Side
criticism of the
channel.
game. That's a
Here, I need to move
transformative
this out of
work.
my way.
A game review, official review video, like The Hateful Truth. That's a transformative work. Or my top 10 series or top 20 series for Game of the Year awards. That's a transformative work. All those things under U.S.
Ah,
fair use
yes,
law currently are
copyright.
considered transformative
Let's get into
works.
it. I know a thing or two about
Last month, I'm
copyright
putting
as
everything
well.
up on Blip, and everything's been great. I was supposed to actually this week have a
Dark Side
conference
Phil
call with
channel.
my contact at Blip and someone else. They were going to talk a little bit more about how the ads really work on Blip, and basically what are the seasons, I guess, where maybe there's be a little bit more ad activity as opposed to someone. There's a dry spell, for example. December seemed to be
Dry
a gigantic
spell,
month,
big ups code.
and this one seems to have slowed down. And that makes sense. As a business, as advertisers aren't going to spend as much money the month after Christmas as they are during Christmas, because Christmas is when everyone's spending money. So it makes sense. So we were going to have this conference call this week, and actually as early as last night, I got an email from my contact. He said, "Phil, what times are you available this week?" I'm in the office, and I let him know when I'm free this week. So I hadn't heard from him all day today, and then finally, at 4:30
It's not on
PM,
Dark
I
Side
get an
Phil.
email.
I wonder if it would
Okay?
be on DSP
So I'm not going to lie. I'm not
Reacts.
going to, fib or try to interpret or try. I'm going to read you the email. Okay.
All right, here we go,
By
Phil.
the way, the email doesn't say this is an internal memo. It doesn't say anything like that, and it is honest truth of what was said to me. So I'm going to read it. Okay. I'm not going to give out.
There's
any
a couple
personal contact
moments.
information or
We've been
anything like
talking
that,
a lot
'cause I'm
about
not
communication.
looking
I
to
should
hurt
say
Blip.
I've been
I
talking a
love
lot
Blip.
about
For a month,
communication
they've
on
been
this
great
stream.
to me. And
There's a lot of indicative calm shit that he does in this diatribe right here. Pay
I want to
attention
explain to everyone what
if you
happened
can.
and what's going on. Okay, and then I'm going to actually read my response to Blip, which I sent them within about an hour of receiving this email. And then we'll talk a little bit
I
about
found
my
it.
take on it. So here we go.
I found the New York vlogs. All right. We're going to watch the New York vlogs after this, by the way.
By the way, the subject line was just blip.tv,
I found
so
it.
I didn't know what it was.
I found
It
it.
says, hi, Phil. I know you were working on setting up a call with blank. This was my contact at Blip TV for some time this week, but I'm going to have to preempt that conversation here. Okay? While we were initially willing to work with you, we found that your videos are frequently violating our terms of service on multiple fronts.
True.
Okay? The less serious of the offenses are the raw gameplay videos you are uploading. Okay? Again, I'm not going to give any commentary. We're just going to read this.
They're trying to give him the feedback sandwich, I think. They're starting... What's feedback sandwich is... You start with a negative, you give him a positive, you give him another negative. I think that's what they're about to do. They're about to be like, yeah, we're going to tell you about the less bad thing first, but you're pretty cool and you have potential, but also you're racist. I think that's how it goes.
We clearly state when you sign up that uploading gameplay is not allowed. You are required to check a box specifically acknowledging this in order to open an account. You do make some videos within the constraints of the show format, but many of them are just meandering
Oh,
and
slurms.
random.
Yeah, the Street Fighter Cope video.
The more
I bet that
serious
goes up
offense is
tomorrow.
the hateful speech used in videos like, and he actually directly links
I'm
to
taking tomorrow off
the
from Phil. Dude,
Dead Space
I am
2
gonna be
demo.
so off of Phil content tomorrow. I'm cooking hamburgers and hot dogs, and we're going to the pool. Dude, I'm so excited. I'm like a kid. I'm so excited about going to the pool. It's so fucking stupid, but I love going to the pool.
Playthrough that I did, the part 4, which
It's
is
gonna
the
be
last
crowded
part,
and probably
okay?
full of like a ton of people,
And by
but
the
whatever.
way, I hope that everyone at Blip who's been dealing with me is watching
No,
this
Meth
video,
Bear.
'cause
Not
I'm gonna
hateful
be
speech,
completely
harmful
factual
speech.
and honest. So let's
Harmful.
continue. So that's the link he gives, and he says, this is clearly in violation and just plain unacceptable. Our terms of service states that we will remove content that is or may be deemed to be grossly offensive to the online community, including but not
It is
limited
gross.
to blatant expressions, of bigotry, prejudice, racism, hatred, and profanity. We will
Nice
not allow
edit,
our
by the
service
way.
to be used to
Very
promote
simple,
hate,
but
and
it gets the point
absolutely
across.
Can't allow advertisements to be run on this type of content.
Oh yeah, Meth Bear. It's been downgraded to
It is what
harm,
it is.
no, or was it
Continue.
harmful
Word
speech?
for word. All right, next paragraph.
He said something
We've
recently
turned off advertising for your account,
where he
We're
said, like,
removing your
harmful
videos from our
speech
service
the
on
past couple
Wednesday,
months, I
January
think.
19th, giving you a week to find a new home for any videos you may have exclusively uploaded to Blip. In most cases, we do not send checks to shows
Wait,
that grossly
so I missed that part. So they gave him a week's notice on this. That's pretty generous, dude. A lot of times when your account is shut down or you're kicked from a site, they don't give you any notice. You just try to, like, I've had websites where I've literally tried to log into the account and it just says at the login screen after you click on your credentials, it says your account's been terminated. And that's all. It's your account's been terminated. Please check your email for more information. That's all it is. It's very, very, very let's say accommodating a Blip to give him a week, especially after what the actual reason they banned him for is. That's
violate our
incredible.
terms of service.
I completely
But we will
missed
make
that
an
part.
exception in your case. Now, I do have to interrupt just to explain what he's talking about.
And they did pay
the way
him.
That Blip TV works is they pay quarterly. And so everything that I've done in December ended basically December 30th. That's considered end of quarter. And so he's saying they're going to make an exception in this case. Now I'll continue. Your check will arrive on time with our next
Meth
batch
Bear.
of
What
quarterly
was it?
payments.
I don't even remember.
I'm happy to
Something like
answer any-
harmful speech.
Excuse me,
Yes.
answer any questions you might have, but my decision is final.
Harmful
we will be removing
speech.
your videos from our servers in 1 week. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help with the transition. Your work shows potential, and I think that you can make a decent living doing this if you can continue to study.
Yep. Feedback sandwich. They started with the lesser of the two negative evils. They said you show potential, and then they're gonna get into the Nazi shit. Then I think at the very end of that, if I recall, they even say, you're still a pretty cool guy.
television medium.
Like, they treated him like such a child here. Like, they gave him every benefit of a doubt possible. Like, they gave him every bit of room they reasonably could, and he is still a complete cock about it.
And merge it with what you're doing currently. If you can fully embrace the show format and be more thoughtful and sensitive with your language, you'll go far. It's too bad we won't be able to go on that journey with you.
They
Take
basically
care, yours,
future
Eric.
endeavored him, which is really
And it says
funny.
he is the director of content at Blip TV. Okay. That's his email, word for word. Didn't put any commentary.
I also want to point out that he didn't say the name of his contact, his official contact, but he did say that the director of content at Blip TV was called Eric. So I'm sure that went over well.
Anything into there, okay? There's a couple things I'd love to address, but first what
Oh yeah, dude. So yeah, Silent Weapons, a bunch of corpo speak PR jargon. I hate PR jargon. Like, just to go off on a tangent, like, corpo speak and PR jargon is just to make people feel dumb. It's literally just to make people feel dumb. And I understand that shit. And I have to sling it sometimes as part of my job, because my job requires me to spew a lot of jargon to people on a daily basis. But I fucking hate it because it makes people feel dumb. My stepdad, who worked in sales for the longest time, had the perfect saying. If he had somebody that was giving him all the corpo jargon, he would say, "Are we going to speak English?" And like, him and his friends and his supervisor and his management team, like, when they were going to have a serious conversation without all the corpo bullshit, he would say, listen, Paul. My stepdad's name is Paul. I'd say, "Listen, Paul, I'm going to speak English to you. All right?" Which is so good, because corpo speak is almost like another language. I mean, I've been derailing about comm stuff all the time. We could have an entire stream based on like the business jargon Phil uses, because Phil uses that corpo shit on his streams now. Thanks in advance to everyone who supported is like, thank you in advance, and it was a team effort, is like the most middle manager vibes. And I report to middle managers that say that shit all the time. Oh, it was a team effort. Thank you in advance.
I'm going to read you the email that I sent pretty much within an hour back to Eric at Blip and explain exactly what I said to him, okay?
Tell me what you really think.
No,
that's
no
right.
Commentary,
That's
I'm
right.
going to tell you exactly what I said. The one
That's
part
right, bro,
I will cut out
Phil.
is I do talk a little bit about my past on YouTube, which all of you already know. I'm not going to go through that again. So let's go. I started with, "Hello, Eric. First of all, allow me to preempt my response to your email by saying thank you for making an exception and following through with December's payment."
That's actually quite
Obviously,
cordial
I am
of Phil
upset at the
to say
situation,
this.
but I wanted to get this out.
I have to give him credit for thanking Eric for basically going against their SOP. Oh, I see. I just said it, because I say basically going against their procedure. I say the word. I fucking hate the term SOP, but I say it all the time in my job. Now I'm saying it on stream. Fuck this. I hate corpo speak.
First,
it needs
before
to
we
die.
go off on a tangent, I greatly appreciate your decision, and you will understand why once you read the below. Okay? Now, for those of you who are wondering why I did that, it's number one, I am extremely grateful that they are going to basically send me a payment for all the hard work
Sons
I
of the
did in
Patriots.
December.
That's right.
Unlike what YouTube
Sons
did.
of
YouTube
the
basically
Patriots.
stole 2 months of hard work from me and basically said, "Well, we're taking you out of our program. Too bad. We're not paying you for this."
Oh
2
yeah,
months."
greatly
So out of the 3 months I actually did
greatly is a huge red flag when someone's like, "Oh, I greatly appreciate it." Yeah, it comes across as so like cold and impersonal. Yeah, dude, I want to do a stream on like the corpo speak of DSP, because I am neck deep in that shit all day every day. That would actually be a fun stream.
Stuff on YouTube on my partner channel. I only got credit for 1 month. So Blip, right off the bat, they've already a step up, okay? In my eyes, anyway. So here we go. Say, okay, here goes. Please do take the time to read this entire message.
Oh, please do
This is me
take the time
talking
to
to
read
Eric.
this entire
Let me say-
message. Oh my God. That's another one I hate. I hate when people are like, take the time to read this entire message. Make your message shorter, dude. So I didn't work in like the corporate world like my whole life. I didn't get a corporate job until 2015. And my supervisor at my first job at that company was like, you are too damn verbose with your emails. You need to make your email shorter. People do not have time to read all your shit when they've got hundreds of emails per day. Make your email short. And that's something Phil never mastered. Phil never mastered the art of making a short, concise email. And that kind of makes him insufferable, because the saying goes, how you do one thing is how you do everything. If this email is an indicator for how he does everything, it's why he does the pre-stream the way he does. It's why he strings out the gameplay, because he doesn't understand how to present facts in a way that respects people's time. It's really terrible.
This is coming as a huge surprise. This is the very first message I've received from Blip TV in any kind of a negative light. I'm totally blindsided and very
Slurms, he intentionally takes forever.
Terminate my Blip TV account without at first at least discussing it with
He
me.
thinks him being able to ramble for an hour is a talent. He's even said that.
Working with my contact at Blip, who's been extremely helpful over
and
the
I mean,
past month.
to be clear, I understand that what I'm doing now is rambling on a stream, but I'm rambling on a stream. I'm not presenting you an email. You're on this stream to waste time. You're on this stream basically to kill time and watch the guy. That we're all here for the same reason. If I was working a job with you, I would just tell you to make your fucking thing shorter.
And now I'm basically being told I'm banned for your business for things I had absolutely no idea were issues. All right, now I'm going to skip the next paragraph, because basically what the next paragraph explains is how I was laid off from my job.
Dude, bro.
in
So
September. I'm trying
Broside
to make
Phil
this a
and
full-time
Len
thing,
have
and
derailed
YouTube
me very
basically shut
hard.
me down from
But
their AdSense
honestly,
program.
one of my major things is I love getting derailed. Like the derail is the point of the stream, and it's something that Phil has never learned to embrace. You can have some of your most fun on stream as the streamer if people just fucking derail your ass. It's really funny. Lefty does it too. It's very fun.
Kicked me out. Okay.
Hell, the Tractor Beam, their Thursday night stream is all just ADD derail type shit, and it's so much fucking fun.
So, let me continue. As soon as this happened, I actually had to scramble and figure out a new plan to continue what I was doing while finding a way to support myself financially. I am familiar with many of the more popular shows here on Blip TV, including Nostalgia Critic. In fact, Nostalgia Critic is one of the... I'm sorry.
Again, he feels the need to tell his whole story. What he should say... So, the thank you part where he says, thank you for still paying me, that can stay in. But he should really cut all of this shit and get straight to his argument or his case as to why he shouldn't be kicked, basically. This is all just extemporaneous bullshit. If I was reading this and it was my decision whether or not to hear him out, I would probably have closed the message by now, because he is a waste of time. He is the definition of a waste of time.
Not tangent, but he's one of the biggest guys on Blip TV. All his videos he puts on Blip. In fact, I was
Meth Bear is outing himself as Adriana Chechik fan. She's all right.
His gaming division, Blister Thumb. So now, yeah, the
She's
cat's
all right.
out of the bag. I was talking to the Nostalgia Critics.
I'm not big into the porn ladies these days.
They would promote my content, and I'd be part of them. Now that it looks like
but I know who she is. Of course,
probably not going to happen.
She's also technically a Twitch streamer.
Okay, blah blah blah. After speaking with them, I actually decided that Blip TV would be a great fit for what I do. Its ad system is view-based, not based off of clicks, and I've never had a problem with viewership. I did initially have concerns regarding the fact that I do video gameplay.
They don't care about your story,
I have the same
dude.
concerns on your YouTube, but per my legal research on the subject, I actually discovered that Let's Plays are not a violation of copyright law as long as there is live commentary or criticism.
Yeah, Demeter, actually, imagine that. Imagine if we had like some honest to goodness DSP and Doug Walker collabs. And I'll say this too. Imagine if DSP crossed paths with someone like Lindsay Ellis, because Lindsay Ellis was collabing with Doug Walker for a long time. Imagine if DSP crossed paths with Lindsay Ellis at this time before Panda, and tried to swerve on Lindsay Ellis. That'd be pretty fun. That'd be a pretty fun arc if DSP was trying to like suavely chat up Lindsay Ellis in DMs. That'd be very fun.
That is protected under U.S. fair use law. True.
Because I guarantee you, Lindsay Ellis would not put up with his shit. It'd be very, very funny.
If all that I was uploading was raw footage with no commentary or review, then it would not be protected. But I actually film everything with a camera, not direct feed, and I always do live running commentary on everything that I do, which would protect it under the U.S. fair use law. I actually specifically brought up this question with my contact at Blip, and he advised that as long as I added something to the raw footage to make it my own, and it would make it a transformative work, that I was in the clear. So, to your first point, Eric, stating that walking...
merch. Lindsay sounds pretty good to Linda. Imagine a world where he starts calling Lindsay, where he had to call Lindsay Ellis his mom wife. That would be very funny. Though I don't think Lindsay Ellis is his type at all. She's nothing like the two girls she's been with, and she ain't no big booty Latina. So I don't think Lindsay Ellis would be his type, but she's a woman on the internet and she breathes, so I guess that might be enough for her.
Play videos are a less serious offense of your terms of service, but I've basically violated this. I have to respectfully disagree based off of my research into U.S. fair use law and the responses of my contact at Blip. I have never uploaded just
I do
raw
I do have to out myself as a enjoyer of Lindsay Ellis's content, because like I said earlier on in the stream, I'm a guy who gets way into why people consume the media that they consume. That's like one of my weird rabbit holes I fall down, and she did that. She did a lot of that.
Keep going here. Now to your second point about, and I linked to that video, the Dead Space 2 Part 4 demo gameplay. It's meant for comedic purposes only.
Okay.
I do have actually
now we're getting into the real shit.
Playthrough commentaries, which are meant to be larger than life parodies of
comedic purposes.
Racist
Okay.
Stereotypes. And from that video, I'm assuming it might be.
Wait, what did he just say? I want to.
Have actually several characters in playthrough commentaries, which are meant to be larger than life parodies of such racist stereotypes.
Okay. So let me ask you this, Phil. And the chat, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be wrong. Did the character of Isaac Heimler, the last remaining Nazi in space, appear in any other DSP content? Is he a larger-than-life character, or was it just that one time? I'm pretty sure it was just that one time.
And from that video, I'm assuming it might be, the racist parody that I did that you're...
He's basically taking, like, He's taking the word salad approach, like when you try and catch someone for something or like call someone out on something. It's like, well, I understand why you feel that way, but let me tell you why you're wrong. Which is a dog shit way to talk to people, by the way. But that's literally what he's doing to this Eric guy. Like, yeah, I understand why you thought I was racist, but let me tell you why you're wrong. It's condescending, and it's not how you win people over, to be honest. The best thing to do would be to apologize. And I actually don't think he apologizes at all in this entire thing, if I recall.
Finding offensive. These are not serious in any way, are not meant to be taken that way. I'm certainly not standing in front of a camera, giving a
yeah,
serious
Roachbait says one-off. Yeah, I figured it's a one-off.
This commentary is an attempt to enlighten the mood of a rather scary game with something totally off the wall and crazy. I would like to point out, and this is the word for word, I would like to point out that Howard Stern, the most popular radio host of all time, has done far worse on the air, and yes, he also suffered some persecution.
Yeah, dude, he got canceled. He got canceled. He literally had to switch from like off of terrestrial radio onto Sirius XM radio because he got fucking canceled. And this is you, dude. You had to go from Blip back to YouTube because you got canceled. Like so semantically, him comparing himself to Howard Stern is him telling Blip TV that they did the right thing. That they literally, like, this is not a counter argument. And I don't see a lot of people bring this up about this saga, but Phil pointing out, oh, Howard Stern does this, and then in the next sentence he does like lightly point out Howard Stern got canceled. That is him proving Blip TV's point here. It's not a counter argument. This is how much of like a weird idiot he is. He is making Blip's point right here.
From the FCC for what he did. But it was always meant as a joke, in good fun, and he never really had problems with advertisers.
Oh, Doomer Ziggy, lore expert, says he did two chew jokes at the same time in the X-Men arcade playthrough, and it's private.
Any viewer for this video, and that is true. I didn't get one complaint. No one said, Phil, I can't believe that you're doing this kind of stuff. People love it. They think it's hilarious because they have senses of humor.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
He does have a pattern of Howard
that was
use, doesn't he, Roachbait?
I'm going to keep going. For the past month, I've used Blip TV exclusively as a place for my new footage, and I've constantly and repeatedly praised your business for your...
I mean, Meth Bear, Howard Stern had fuck you money even before any of that happened, but like after the Sirius XM deal, he's set for fucking life. He never has to answer to anybody ever again. He's done. He's set.
Outstanding responses, customer support, and view-based ad program. I would not be surprised if hundreds of users out of my over 100,000 fans from over on YouTube have signed up and actually going to use your service as a direct result of my recommendation. Again, I had absolutely no idea that anything I was doing was violating your terms of service. I was actually getting excellent help and feedback from my contact at Blip and thought that everything was fine. I'm appalled that you made this permanent decision and you're not even considering further discussion.
This is him making himself the victim, by the way. I want to point that out. Him saying, I'm appalled that you have made this permanent decision. You have made this decision. I feel slighted that you have made this permanent decision. Well, too bad.
I'm a mature adult with a business degree.
There it is. He said the thing. I love when we're watching stuff and he says the thing. Let's hear that again.
And you're not even considering further discussion. I'm a mature adult with a business degree, and I can fully understand if you have concerns. I'd be willing to stop with anything that might be viewed as racist if you feel it's a problem for your...
That's so... Okay. This is also funny.
Concerns. I'd be willing to stop with anything that might be viewed as racist if you feel it's a problem for your advertisers.
Notice why. I'd be willing to stop with anything that may be viewed as racist because of how it is with your advertisers. Not, it was a bad call and I shouldn't have said what I said. It's, well, I'll tone down the racism if it's going to affect your money. It's all financially based. It's all done for the sake of monetary gain. He doesn't feel bad. This is why people in the Detractor Beam Discord were talking about racism, like whether or not Phil is actually racist. This, I think, is one of the key indicators that he might actually be racist, like fundamentally, because he doesn't understand that the reason why he is getting yeeted from Blip is because making Nazi jokes on a video game video looks bad. It's just a bad look. No one likes it. No one likes it. It's a bad look for any company to endorse or even platform, and that goes way over his head. Like entirely over his head. He has no concept that racism might be bad. The only thing that he's concerned about is whether or not it would affect engagement or ad dollars. That's such an indicator of his like fundamental racism, in my opinion. And in my opinion, just to be very clear about what my opinion is on DSP, he is racist. He is 100% documented, provably racist. There's no denying that. There's no concessions for him. He is a racist because he does shit that racists do.
I'm certainly not a racist in real life, but again, up to this point, I have received nothing.
But when you're an online content creator and your job is to make content for money, that is your real life. Like your job is your real life, right? Am I not wrong on this? Your job is your real life. You are what you do in a lot of cases, especially in America. So Phil Burnell, to a lot of people, because of this Blip TV saga, was the racist chud that made a space Nazi joke. And Blip saw that, and they said, "Oh shit, people are going to be thinking Phil Burnell is a racist chud because he made that space Nazi joke. We don't want him on our platform." Like, you are what you do, because when you're at a party and you're meeting someone new, one of the first things people ask you is what do you do? And what they mean when they say what do you do, it's what do you do for work? Because that is one of the first categories people will define you by, is what your job / profession is. So yeah, they're tied together. Like, what you do in work is what you do in life. You know what I mean?
But positive feedback from Blip TV and its staff.
Yeah, roach bait. That's what I was trying to say, but I'm too fucking long-winded. So thank you, roach bait. Your work reflects who you are. Yes, your work is often, but not always, a reflection of who you are. In the case of Phil, I won't give him that benefit, because when you are uploading content that is personality based, I can't talk. That is personality based on the internet. Your work is your life. It is.
If at all possible, please suspend the results of your decision until you and I can personally talk on this subject. I'm willing to talk at any time on the issue and will speak with anyone at your business who needs to be involved in an appeal of this decision. I think you'll find I'm very professional off camera, and I'm willing to do anything that I can to stay on Blip, including seriously toning down things that you may think would be a problem for your advertisers. I just need to have a talk on where that line is, so to speak.
Tell me what I can get away with. Tell me what I can and cannot do. It's like a child, right? Like, I don't have kids of my own. I have 2 nephews. I've watched them a lot. I've had childcare jobs in my past. Worked at a preschool, all of that. You have to give children set boundaries of like what is and what is not acceptable according to the rules. Adults just know. Common sense and common decency is something you develop as an adult. This is one of the things that would substantiate my theory on Phil being more mentally and emotionally stunted than he is intellectually, because he's smart enough to understand that he did something bad, but he doesn't have the emotional intelligence or the wherewithal to understand why, because he's not capable of putting himself in the position of someone that runs a multimedia platform and now has to be responsible with someone making Nazi jokes on it. You know what I mean?
One last note, and this is the end of the email. One last note, I'm only bringing this up because it is an inevitability, and I feel like I need to mention it. If this decision does stand, then I'm permanently banned from Blip within a week.
Yeah.
Understand, I'm gonna have to explain
so Lionel, that's true. What I say about YouTube all the time, and like any platform, is you do not owe that platform anything except to follow the terms of service. As long as you follow the TOS, you should be on that platform. And then outside of that, that platform owes you fucking nothing. They don't owe you explanation, especially if it's a free platform. If it's a platform that you're posting on for free and there's no money attached, they don't owe you shit. It's one thing if you're paying like a sub to upload there, then maybe if money is exchanged, you can have a case for that because you've put money into it. But in the case of Blip or even YouTube, they don't owe him shit.
Over 100,000 people on YouTube why this decision was made and why all of my footage has been deleted.
Yeah, Doomer Ziggy says he used the First Amendment for why things are acceptable. The First Amendment does not extend to TOS because the First Amendment is tailored specifically so that the government and government entities cannot curtail your speech in any way, shape, or form. YouTube and Blip are not government entities. You can set what is and what is acceptable within your own rules because you're a private platform. Phil's a fucking idiot.
That again, this is the very first time Blip has ever brought this up. I cannot imagine that the response is going to be very positive, but it might be the opposite. I could understand if I had been warned or told repeatedly that I was told that I was violating your terms of service.
Why do you need a warning?
This is the very first time I've been told, and now I'm getting the boo. It's the equivalent of an employer telling someone good job repeatedly and then giving them a pink slip the next day. So please consider this request for appeal. I will eagerly await your response, Phil Burnell. That's the
But Phil's talking about like, let's say the idea is that like let's say Phil didn't know that assault was a crime, right? Let's say Phil goes and he hits someone, and the PD takes him in, they arrest him. They say, well, I didn't know that was bad. I didn't know that was against the rules. I wish I got a warning. Can't we sit down and talk about this? It's like, well, no, it's against the rules, dude. Common decency. You don't hit people. Maybe that's a shitty analogy, but similar concept. Like, adults don't need to be told what the rules are.
black and white of it, okay? I'm obviously not happy with it. I'm disturbed because, as I said, this entire time I've been doing stuff on Blip, and trust me, it's
my cat's screaming at
trying
me
to get someone,
because it's almost time for her to eat.
Not someone, but an audience, an established audience.
She is
who
screaming.
Watch me keep doing something as a full-time job to move from one place to another when
you
it's
chose
easy for
to
them
broke
just
the
stay
law.
Where they are. It's immensely difficult, and I'm so appreciative of everyone who.
It's not difficult. It's not difficult to move from platform to platform. Your shit's already on YouTube. Like, you already have a YouTube presence. This is not difficult.
Who has gone over to Blip, because I think it is a great site. I think their ad program is way better than Google AdSense. I think it makes sense that people should watch the ad.
Siege mode, by the way.
That's how it works on TV, right? You watch TV, you watch
He's
an
very
ad,
defensive.
The advertiser pays that network, and that network gets the money from it. It's common sense. So, I love Blip TV. I really do. And I want to continue.
Well, yeah. So Willis Moore in the chat brings up a good point. If you violate the rules of his chat, you get a ban. He feels no need to give an explanation. Well, yeah. And to be fair to Phil, you don't need to give you can ban. You're the YouTube streamer. You can ban anyone you want from your chat for any reason. You can yeet someone because you don't like them. That's fine. But for him to morally say, well, they should have given me an explanation, when his knee-jerk behavior when someone disagrees with him on stream, even about the pettiest little fucking thing, is to give them a ban and not even a timeout. Get the fuck out of here, Phil.
You working with them, and I am so blindsided by what happened today, because, like I said, I've never been given any kind of negativity whatsoever.
Oh, Doomer Ziggy says Blip paid you for everything you uploaded. Wow. So everyone on Blip was making money. So everyone on Blip was monetized. That's wild, dude.
Whatsoever from Blip, and I could see, YouTube. YouTube has said to me, you violated our terms of service. For example, when I was doing my Dante's Inferno playthrough, and in part 1, there was a half-second clip I didn't, realize at the time, but your wife, she's dying, make show her boob or something. Now, first of all, it's a virtual boob, okay? But what did YouTube do? Did they cancel my account? No, they said, okay, Phil, well, this is a violation because it did have some virtual nudity, so they basically put a strike against my account and took the video down.
Virtual boob. That's right. Virtual boob.
This is the first time I have any idea that I'm doing anything wrong, and they're saying they're basically going to kick me off the business, and there's no way to even talk about it.
They
There's
can.
no open line of dialogue, and that's what I'm worried about, as everyone knows.
I mean, a restaurant manager, well, to use Phil's restaurant analogies, a restaurant manager can kick you out because they don't like you. Like, right of refusal of service is a thing. Technically, any private place or platform can refuse service to someone for any reason. Now, that doesn't extend to like the Bill of Rights and that kind of thing. Like, if you feel like you're being discriminated against for race, creed, sexual orientation, any of that doesn't extend. But like, I don't know. Let's say Phil goes to a sandwich shop and the sandwich shop owner doesn't like him. He can just say, "Go away, Phil. I don't like you," and just on the basis of that dude not liking Phil, that would be enough in a lot of situations. Nobody owes you anything.
I've had the easiest time, and starting in September when I lost my job, it's been hard. It's been a struggle. First of all, to stay positive, and second of all, to do this full time is a significant investment of time. And at least for the most part, I've gotten extremely positive feedback. People saying, "We love what you do. Keep doing it." what I would really like, and I hope that people
The
who are
arms.
watching this video is to
I can't
open a
really
live
do it from this
dialogue
angle because the
and to
camera's
talk
super
about it
close,
and see
but
what we
the
can do to
arms
work it out.
reaching
And if it means,
is
okay,
funny to me.
don't do that kind of stuff because we're actually afraid our advertisers will get mad or something like that, or they, fine. But this was a comment made as a joke. It was an off-the-wall joke on the spot. And by the way, I don't plan.
Yeah,
on
Roach
anything
Bait.
I do
That
in my
could be a
videos. It's
bit.
all
Phil getting banned
improv.
from a sandwich
So it was
shop.
off-
Phil. So the bit would be Phil getting banned from a sandwich shop, and then him reading you the email exchanges from him and the sandwich shop owner. That would be a fucking banger of a bit. Oh man.
off the wall on the spot. I was basically trying to take the scary out of the scary game because a lot of people get terrified at these games and they say, Phil, when you actually play them and you with your commentary, you make it funny, so we're actually able to watch.
I've got well, I was going to talk about it because I have some shit. I think we'll watch the rest of this and then I'll call it. There's some changes going on around here, good changes that I wanted to talk about towards the end of the stream. But one of the things is I've got some audio bits that I'm going to be working on, and I'll have members sit in on some of those research streams because I've been trying to find ways I could offer more to members of the channel, especially since Lefty is taking a huge step back and he won't be posting or streaming as much. He's still here. He'll still be around, but it'll mostly just be me for a while. So I want to offer something more to the members. So as I'm doing research for like an audio bit or anything that I'm working on, I'll do a member stream where you guys can help me hunt clips and all this stuff. It's going to be fun.
Enjoy this game in a different way, and we actually admire that. That's why we like your videos. So I'm just trying to, lighten.
Let me tell you why you like
If
them,
anyone took
by the way.
offense, I apologize, and none of my comments ever have been serious, and everyone knows that. I have friends of every single color. I'm not a racist or a bigot, and I think that's ridiculous.
But racists say all of my best friends are black. That's literally what racists say. Literally. That is such a common thing. It's a meme. Literally.
On the flip side of it, I could see if I was right here on the couch right here, and this was a video about how I hate a certain race.
Yeah, priorities, Meth Bear. My girlfriend is also distracting me, which is why I have been honestly posting less and streaming less. Lefty and I are both kind of at the point where we're doing more family-oriented stuff, and we want to talk about Phil less. But he seems to be in a different place than I am. I seem to have more energy to devote to Phil. Still not a lot, but enough to get like a stream out a week and a few bits. But yeah, we have emptied the tanks a lot. We don't have the energy for Phil as we used to. But channel's gonna keep going. Content's
like
not gonna dry
That's
up.
Completely different, and that has no place on any website, including Blip TV. And I'm sure advertisers don't want to be associated with that.
Phil's
But
a
I've
Baggett.
seen-
That's right.
Like I said, I've listened to
Baggett.
Howard
I have to
Stern. I've
hit
watched
that B
Family
really
Guy.
hard.
I've watched South Park. I've seen things on regular TV, which, by the way, didn't say it was TV unrated like all of my videos do, and that they may contain explicit content. And it has way worse than the stuff that I do. So I am just completely flabbergasted at.
Yes, but those networks have agreed that stuff is okay. Blip is drawing a line in the sand and saying that what you did is not okay. It's perfectly fine.
What happened, and that no one came to talk to me, especially since I've had an open line of dialogue.
So Doomer Ziggy, Lefty is relaxing and blowing up stuff. Lefty and I had a conversation last weekend, was it? And we kind of both came to the conclusion that most of the time we would rather either be playing or streaming games than talking about Phil. So our Phil content is going to be less frequent, but I want to make sure that it hits hard. Like it's going to be some hard-hitting shit.
Dialogue with Blip for the past.
But I just want to spend more time. I'd rather play Hitman, to be honest. I'd almost always rather play Hitman. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that. But yeah, Lefty is blowing a lot of stuff up. If you check his personal channel, it's great stuff. He's really fun.
Communication. I've been told you're doing great. Everything you're doing is great, and we love it. And now all of a sudden, I'm being told, no,
we
you
love
screwed
it.
up. Goodbye. It's like I basically use this analogy. Imagine if you got a new job, and your job is to hammer nails into a piece of wood, and sure, on the job, whatever, you sign the waiver when you first get the job, but as soon as you go in, you're hammering, and your boss comes up and looks at you and says, good job, Phil, you hammered those in really well. And for the whole month, they couldn't come back to you, good job. In fact, here's a way to do it a little bit better.
I agree, Demeter.
Good job, good job. And then at the end of 30 days, he
Detox
says,
is important.
Well,
or like
here's your paycheck
stepping
for what you
back.
did.
Stepping
by
back
the
is
way,
important.
you've been doing
Like
it wrong the whole
Decepticon
month.
took a
Fine.
break for a while.
That's exactly what happened.
And
That's
he's
exactly
he's
the
excited to
situation.
do stuff again.
So, please, Blip, appealing to you, okay? Because I don't know if Eric's going to get his email.
I'm appealing to you.
Open a line of dialogue. Give me a call. Respond to this. I'll give you my phone number. Let's talk, and let's figure this out.
Let's talk.
That's
Let
all
me
I
tell you
ask.
why you shouldn't have banned me.
I'm so insanely taken aback by what's going on here that I don't even know how to react. I mean, it's really hard. I've been trying to be positive for the past 4 months, but it's hard when you get stuff like this, and it's like, this was something so positive. Blip has been such a positive...
in my... Yes. Please. Wait, I think I have that. I have a few things on the... Here we go. I think that went through. I think. Unless... Did I take that off? No, it worked. It worked. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, so what Phil just said, like, I'm appealing to you, I'm taken aback, I'm appalled. I would get that in disability claims all the time. Like, if I got to a point where I had to deny a claim, even if I clearly stated why we were not giving the person their money, some people would be a DSP about it and be like, I don't understand. No, like, I clearly outlined this for you. This is why we can't pay you. I'm sorry, you can send to our appeals team. This one guy, this one dude, I can't say names because the job is the job, but this one guy insisted that I did everything incorrectly with his claim process via the denial. Completely insisted everything. He called me every fucking day, just kind of to yell at me about it. It got to the point where he sent it to the appeals team. The appeals team looked at it and was like, no, you're right. You did nothing wrong. So I literally had someone from another unit look at my stuff and be like, nope. They literally told me you did nothing wrong. You did everything correct. And I was very happy to get that. In like a job setting, someone literally be like, nope, this was above board. It was fine. You made the correct decision. You did nothing wrong. I was like, yes, this is Phil if he was actually right.
My life in the past month after all the crap that happened with YouTube, and now come to find out it seems like the same thing's happening, and it's like, whoa, what the heck, man? So that's all I ask. Open a line of dialogue and let's go from there. Now, to the fans. Number one,
give me my back.
Be mature adults.
So the thing is, like, not to derail too much, I am surprised he has not tried to get Washington paid family and medical leave, because the state of Washington has great state paid family and medical leave. The state of Washington will potentially pay you 90% of your income if you're deemed to be disabled. And everybody that lives and pays taxes in Washington has that available to them. I am so fucking surprised he has not tried to claim Washington state disability paid family and medical leave. Like, I am so fucking surprised, because it seems like it'd be relatively easy for him to just send the state his projected income and get a doctor to say he's disabled, and that would be that. I'm not telling anybody to do it, and I'm not telling him to do it, but I'm so fucking surprised, because he lives in a state that is incredibly generous with its state disability program, and he has not even tried for a second. That really, really is wild to me. It probably, well, Richard Parker, yes, it would probably be too much work, because he would have to do it directly through the state, and contacting the state directly for any disability program is shit. It's the worst. I've had to do it. I've had to do it for situations when I've been sick, and it is the shit, man. I should say the shits, not the shit, because when you say something is the shit, you're saying it's awesome. But it's really shitty going through the state. But think of him getting 90% of his projected income. That's wild.
I've now told you the entire situation factually, okay? Be mature adults. Don't flame Blip TV. Don't do any crazy stuff. act your age, okay?
Act your age.
Mature. And we'll
Yes.
go through this together like we've done everything else. And whatever happens,
We'll
happens,
weather
and
the
we'll
storm.
take it from here, you know? This is why I'm glad. And I said
Rosie's
day one,
pissed.
Since I started doing this,
Rosie's
I have
actually
not spent any
upset. She
significant
thinks
amount of
I
money.
should
I've
feed
been
her.
very conservative
I'm not
with
going to
my
do the
spending,
baby talk,
and
though.
therefore,
But my cat is yelling
I have,
at me.
you know,
It's very funny.
a means at least to keep going for a while without having to worry about being destitute.
Not time to eat
But
yet, you
obviously,
weirdo.
if this now is gone within a month, I can't work at Blip anymore. I'm going to have to try.
How about a job?
And who knows
Good
where
point.
that's going to lead us? So let's be calm. Let's be cool, complacent. Let's stay positive. Let's work together. Fans,
10% of your monthly
Blip,
income.
Please contact me. We'll talk about it.
That's not a
And
lot,
that.
Visible
That's
Dimwit.
the whole story, and we'll go from there. So it is what it is. I tell it like it happened, and we'll go and we'll see what happens. So I'm DSP. I'll see you guys later. And like I said, stay positive. And Fan Appreciation Week is continuing tomorrow.
All right, what's the rest of this?
This is what happens when you let the Jews do whatever they want.
All right.
You've let
So
the
they-
Jews overrun space, and now
They
look
put
at
some
this.
racism in there.
Their greed has had the artifact.
Oh yeah,
turn everyone
Ziggy, it
into
is
necromorphs.
time beg Hutch.
So
Yes,
now I,
it
the
is.
last remaining Nazi, must exterminate them. Hello, Jew. I killed him with one shot. Damn. Yes, Jews in space.
I
You'll
know
see
we
what
watch
happens.
this a lot. Everybody watches this a lot, but whatever. I like it.
Aha.
It's good to have the context.
Oh yes. Fuck you. It's you. Fight me now, Jew. You have no legs.
This gets worse every time I watch it. Way more heinous
Give me
every
your
time I
money.
watch it.
You've hoarded it for far too long.
Swine
Why
comp.
are you carrying your
That's
balls
right.
next to you? You stupid moron. You big-nosed freak.
The way he delivers Big Nose Freak is kind of
Isaac
funny,
Heimler.
but
That's
in
my
context,
name.
it's not.
Fuck you.
No!
Ah. And now, turn the ovens on.
Turn the it's okay. Okay. Turn the ovens on is like probably the darkest one if you think about it. Oh man. Cuz like I don't know. Calling people Jews it's bad, but turn the ovens on implies a whole different level of co-signing the Nazi agenda.
Look at this elevator. It's all colored. It's a special elevator. It's for the priest.
No, this was not pre-John, Visible Dimwit. John was in the mix. Him and John were buddies before YouTube. So John was in the mix. John does have a big nose.
Only. Takes you to special
But John
quarters
is
with
his
remote
not of the
organs.
Jewish persuasion, as far as I know.
Where are they? I know you're hiding them. This is a long-ass elevator.
This is what happens when you stream, or this is what happens when you record but don't edit. At least with the stream chat, you can use the downtime and like loading screens to talk to the chat. But he was just recording and not edit it. Like, for the love of God, dude, edit it.
It's quite rude of you. Quite rude of you.
Oh, really?
Remember that's on your face.
This demo was part of a double with John co-op. Wow.
How dare you?
Oh, Bill and John. I forgot about Bill.
Leave it to a Jew to drop in uninvited. Phil is far from the only 28-year-old that has found themselves laid off from their jobs and in financial straits.
Oh, what is
Instead of
this?
sucking up his pride and taking a crappy job and moving back in with his parents, he's decided to panhandle his fan base. The relationship that DSP has with the fans is now totally based on money, and I feel...
I mean, that's not wrong. None of this is an incorrect statement. He was all about clicks. The difference is, so the key difference that I always highlight in moments like this, DSP was 100% financially motivated right now. The difference is he didn't have to ask. He didn't have to ask, but the money still mattered. Like, he was making $20K a month or whatever it was, and he was doing it all for the money, but he just didn't have to beg. That's the only difference. DSP wouldn't beg if he didn't have to. He just has to, you know?
to see how such a situation can end any way but badly. Save your pennies for your personal rainy days ahead.
Oh,
and force Phil to be
Doomer
accountable for
Ziggy says
himself.
this was the guy who
Holy
complained.
shit.
Okay.
This guy fucking is so jealous of my popularity and the fact that for 4 or 5 months now, yeah, I've been able to turn this into a business per se and been able to support myself, that he is fucking reporting me falsely.
You know how you handle forum posts with grace that you disagree with? You ignore them and you don't make a video flaming them, because in truth, when you're trying to run damage control when someone doesn't like you, when you're stating their opinion, even just to make an argument against their opinion, you are boosting their opinion in a way.
The websites to try to get me banned and fuck me over, so I have to stop doing this for a living. Wow, you are a shithead.
But if that doesn't work, the last resort is
Oh,
Blip
yes,
TV.
Dante's
the problem
Inferno.
with Blip TV is that they outright say in their terms and conditions that you're not supposed to upload video game footage. Now, a lot of people have contacted me and said, well, that's bullshit, because we see people with video game footage on there all the time. Well, that's true. There's always people who are going to abuse the...
I mean, when YouTube went... Okay. Some of you guys were around for when YouTube was first a thing, right? I saw porn on YouTube back then. You weren't supposed to upload or watch porn on YouTube back in 2005 when YouTube first came out, but you could, right? You know what I mean? You could get away with a lot of shit you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to walk on the grass in certain places, but you can.
rules. The problem is, if I put video game footage up there...
Does anybody remember Google Video? Google Video was even more of a fucking free-for-all. Do you remember before Google bought YouTube and they had Google Video? There was everything on there. There was full pornographic movies. There were movies that were currently in theaters. People were uploading bootlegs on those things because Google Video didn't have a time limit. You could just upload whatever as long as you could get it down to a certain file size. But there was no limit on the duration. So I was watching full movies on Google Video. It was amazing.
And a lot of my viewers from YouTube follow over. It's probably going to get a lot of attention, and they might say something.
But my point is, like, to argue against Phil, just because people are doing it doesn't mean that it's in compliance with the rules. He gets so caught up on what the rules are. And he does it both ways. He likes to say, well, why is this a rule if you're not enforcing it? But also, he likes to say, well, this is against the rules, so all these people should be banned or locked up. He does it both ways. He uses the technicality of rules to get away with things when other people are breaking rules. But when people he doesn't like or something he doesn't like is going on, he'll always say, well, that's against the rules. All those people should be banned. Just like he said Pokimane should be banned from the internet for showing a movie on Twitch or whatever. Like, fuck off. Like, shut up. Shut up. Pokimane is like one of the biggest streamers on the internet. Of course she gets away with shit. There is favoritism. There's favoritism with Phil too. Phil got away with immense shit back in the day. Oh my God. Phil got away with so much shit that smaller creators didn't. Oh my God.
We'll see today is that in about an hour.
Yeah, the G-Man. Middle school argument. It's the argument of, but they're doing it. If you've ever worked with kids, I was a director at a summer camp for years. And the most commonly used excuse that an 8-year-old would use when an 8-year-old was doing stupid shit, where they'd point to someone who was also doing stupid shit and say, but they're doing it. And I'd be like, yeah, but they're getting in trouble too. Because it's against the fucking rules, man.
Myself and our friend Joe, we're going to play Serious Sam the Second Encounter, co-op gameplay over Xbox
I mean, Suburban
Live.
High, he
Record
did
that.
get away with
That's gonna
streaming
be going
gay
up on
prawn,
Blip TV
technically
today.
speaking.
First of all, today's the big day. The first DLC for Fallout New Vegas, Dead Money, just came out. I'm about to wolf down some breakfast, and then I'm going to start playing
Wolf down
so
some
this
breakfast?
is going to be the first demo of using Blip TV for an actual Let's Play, and it's good because it's a DLC. It's not going to be like an 8-hour-long thing. We'll be able to test it
T-Toes.
together and see what
Big
we
up.
think. Fan Appreciation Week. Here's how it's going to work. Every weekday this week, Monday through Friday, I'm going to be playing a different game, okay? Monday's
Beanie
gonna
Phil
be
is
Halo
great.
Reach, Tuesday will be Super Street Fighter 4.
This look
Wednesday
is
will
so
be Call of
weird.
Duty Black
I love
Ops. Thursday will be Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and Friday will be Red Dead Redemption. And also, yes, I will be recording the matches.
How much time in this?
Not,
Okay,
maybe not all
4.5
of it,
minutes.
6 hours of
I
footage is a
think I
shitload of
see out
footage,
the window.
but, I'll be
My
recording
lady
some
is
of it to
home.
put up on Blip TV.
I think it's her. There's people in this complex that drive the same car as her. So it's hard to tell when cars are coming in. I think it's her car. I think she's home.
Because you know when he's black, there's gonna be trouble. What the hell?
Oh yes.
Wow. He shot the fucking handcuffs. Now what?
Oh this.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Oh shit. Get out of there, Jin. Come on, go, go, go.
I forgot about this.
Cheated. Oh, come on, asshole. Don't get your legs squished. You don't want to be like fucking... What's his name? What the hell's the guy who was Superman? I forget his name. Christopher Reeve.
Oh, jeez. That joke, Phil.
Okay, so I'm gonna
That's terrible.
I'm gonna correct the record here. Christopher Reeve did not get his legs crushed. He had a spinal injury. Those are different. Those are completely different. As someone who has had a leg injury, a severe one, and as someone who has spinal problems, they are two different things.
Christopher Reeve jokes are always funny. What are you talking
It's
about?
okay because he's dead.
All right, nigga. It's time.
Ah, yes. Very robust.
In China, they say, rashness brings success to few.
In China, they say, Chiggy Chang Wang Charlie Chan.
Classic.
Shut the fuck up.
Here, I'm gonna mute myself. I gotta
That's
yell.
what they say in China.
Okay. There we go. I had to yell to my girlfriend that she could feed the cat, because usually I feed the cat before she comes home. But she's home a little earlier than expected. Let's see if I see anybody I recognize. There's comments from one of my old dead channels on a couple of these videos. Not in this video, but I could probably hunt around in the DSP comment section and find my old dead stuff when I was a fan. That'd be fun. Oh, this is just a comment montage? Alright. I'm gonna skip the comment montage. What's this panda? What's this panda clip? Hello? Are we gonna get the polices here?
Baseball bat.
Dude, she's totally black.
Oh yeah, this
Oh, look at this. It's this tape. A disc.
You know how I know she's black?
Smash the disc. Smash it with this baseball bat.
You know how I know she's black? You know in that preview video?
Oh, did you see that?
You asshole! Now can I
He
finish my
fucking
thought
whacked
before-
her. Hold on.
Let's hear it.
Come on.
I want to hear it.
Aw, I can hit
Oh,
her though.
sure, you can hit. That's how you know she's black. You can hit her.
Boom! Boom!
Panda. Okay, that's fucking brutal, dude.
Boom!
That might be worse or on par with a lot of shit Phil has said.
That's
Beat
how
the
you
shit
know
out of her
she's
with the
black.
baseball bat.
They were kind of a good match because they were both very childish. Like Panda was an actual child, because I would even consider 18 still a child in many, many ways, and Phil still as a child's
But no,
mind.
there's
What
a part
the
in the
fuck?
preview where she shot the vending
I never
machine with
heard
a
this.
gun. If she was Hispanic, she would have knifed it.
Wow. She's just taking
Oh,
a fucking
combo! Oh my god, racism combo.
world beating. Look at this.
What's that?
You beat the
That's
shit
rough.
out of her.
Watch, I'm gonna join. Wow, you know a lot's been accomplished since the black girl died.
Oh my god.
Person to say it, but we all think it. We all.
Can we go over
Panda.
to shit?
Oh my god. Well, DSP outlasted Panda, but Panda did not. I'm gonna call this a stream, folks. Big ups. Thank you for
You know,
coming along. Oh, what is this? Oh, this. I had autoplay on. Whoops. Thanks for coming along, everybody. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the robust support, Jay Wiseau. Appreciate it. Big ups to all the members as well. Changes on the channel. Like I said earlier on in the stream, Lefty is going to be around, but he's going to be on the channel a lot less. I'll still be putting stuff out a couple times a week. I'm going to pivot more to edited videos. I'll probably do my Wednesday streams along with maybe one edited video every 1 to 2 weeks. And then, that'll be that. I'll squeeze stuff in while I can, but priorities are changing, but the boyfriends are still here for you. I do want to do member streams where I do like research and audio bits and stuff like that, because I actually do have a couple of audio bits that I want to work on. One very long, elaborate one. So I think I will plan to do a members only stream on Sunday before TBS, because I need to do some research for a specific bit that I want to work on to see if it's viable. So I'll make that a member stream. But thanks for coming to the stream, everybody. Consider leaving a like and subbing and all that good stuff. And I'll see you again. Just to plug, if you're not subbed to my Logan K channel, consider it. I do plan on streaming Hitman tomorrow morning. So if you want to watch me play Hitman, come on over to that channel tomorrow morning. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitch. Same thing on Twitch as well. And go sub to Lefty's Lefty channel as well. He does great stuff on there. Sub to our personal channels. We'll see you next time. Bye. Love you all. Thank you. Thank you.